stroke as the Canes jumped out to a 3-1 lead after 4 innings. Then the Hurricane winds subsided as ace Joe Gray was pelted by a Fullerton long ball in the 5th that turned the tide. Things went from bad to worse for Miami as the Titans added a grand slam of the night to put the game away. Coach Ron Frazier is now in a position of going home early with a loss today. Number 2 seed Fresno State was supposed to have an easy time of it on Saturday against 7-seeded Stanford. Bob Bennett's club had it all over the Cardinal on paper, but on the field it was a different story. Previously unbeaten John Sayles allowed 7 runs and didn't make it through the 6th inning. And the Bulldogs didn't help themselves on defense. They committed 3 errors. But today they look to redeem themselves with an explosive lineup that can strike at any time.
Bulldogs are going to bring the bats back for tonight's game.
Today from the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. A couple of games in the Eastern Division as we take a look at the standings. Cal State Fullerton and Stanford both won their opening round games. They'll square off tonight in the winners bracket. And the 2 clubs that lost, Miami and Fresno State. That's the game we have for you this afternoon in our second elimination game. Hello, everybody. I'm Rod Franklin, and it's great to have you along on this Monday afternoon. It is day number 4 of the College World Series here in Omaha. Yesterday, the first elimination game, and in that one, California was knocked off. They are the first team to head home. And this afternoon, either Fresno State or Miami will suffer that same fate. Glad to be working alongside former Major League pitcher Jim Cott again today. Jimmy, I have to admit, when we looked at the brackets and the squarings for this year's College World Series, I thought we'd be seeing Fresno State and Miami, but not in the losers bracket in their second ball game.
I think most everyone felt that way. There's a couple reasons why they're in the losers bracket. Joe Gray, the ace right-hander of the Miami Hurricanes, they looked for a big game out of him. He was not the same pitcher the other night that he has been down the stretch, and especially in the regional. And of course, another thing was Lee Plemmel, the experienced senior right-hander from Stanford, really kept the Fresno State hitters off balance. Outstanding curveball. And the other thing that compounded Fresno State's problems, the sun. 4 o'clock game, the sun out in right field gave Steve Hosley and center fielder Goodwin a lot of trouble.
What you have to understand is the number 2 seed in this tournament, Fresno State, has not suffered the kind of situation that they had on Saturday afternoon, not many times this year. Yesterday, Bob Bennett held a team meeting and had a pep talk.
Bad habits sneak up on you. They sneak up on you, and all of a sudden you're into a situation where you start struggling. What does it make you take to make you feel with negative notions? Pile of this one bad outing. Well, that's a competitor coming out of you. And nobody feels good when they look at it.
Fresno State is a team that rarely looked bad in the regular season. Saturday's loss to Stanford was a tough pill to swallow for a team not used to losing.
I think the players know exactly what they have to do, and I think that nerves also rob you of that ability to be aggressive sometimes. And I think if we go out and we're disciplined at the plate and very aggressive, I think we're a good hitting ball club. When we are not, we're not a good hitting ball club.
I think we just went out there and we played a little tentative. I don't think we were aggressive. We took quite a few fastballs. We thought he was going to throw more curveballs, and I think he surprised some people with some fastballs.
Regionals, we lost a big game to USC, and we came back and won 3 in a row to win the regional. So we've had our foot in the hole before, and we can come out and see what we're made out of right now and show the nation what we're made of.
Success at Omaha for the Bulldogs depends on getting the hitting machine back in order. A simple solution to a new problem.
You know, you got to score runs to win, you know, and they've been doing a good job all year. And I'm looking forward to some runs.
We're looking to come out and play baseball like the Bulldogs can. We've been a good 2-out club all year. We've hit in clutch situations. We've been able to put a lot of runs on the board, and no matter who was pitching, we've always been able to solve it. We were a little nervous the first game, a little passive, and we're going to bring the bats out. We're going to be ready to go at it.
Well, you saw Rich Crane there talking about the hitting, and he wants to see some runs. You bet he's interested because the left-hander is the starting pitcher today. What does he do to the Miami lineup?
Well, first of all, he turns George Robles around to the right side of the plate. Robles had his 66 straight games of being on base streak broken the other night by Longo Garcia. But of course, what helps the Miami offense is that their right-hand hitters Mike Fiore and Frank Dominguez are more of a power threat against the left-hand pitcher.
Jim, I don't know how much some of these people have been watching the College World Series, but in case you have missed it, far and away the biggest story here in Omaha, Nebraska has been the bright sunshine and the play of the outfielders. That's a live shot right there, and the right fielders have just been having fits with it, Jim Cotton.
Well, I think Steve Hosey is very determined today. First of all, he had an opportunity to play left field. He said, no, coach, I can handle right field. There's the problems that he had in the other twilight game we had the other day. And Ned Brigham, the right fielder from Florida, normally a good defensive outfielder, doesn't even get leather on that ball. Now, there is no solution or anything you can tell the college outfielders. They have not played a lot of games at this time of the day, not familiar with using sunglasses, but we have to play the game at 4 o'clock and they have to deal with it.
Okay, Jim Cotton, we are just a few moments away for the start of this, the second elimination game of the College World Series. The starting pitchers for today: on the left, Stephen Major for the Miami Hurricanes, and Rich Crane will be on the hill for Fresno State. ESPN's live presentation of the 1988 NCAA College World Series is being brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By the financial professionals at Payne Weber. By Ramada Inns, you're somebody special at Ramada. Call 1-800-2-RAMADA. And by Firestone Master Care Car Service. With over 1,400 locations nationwide, finally taking care of your car is no big deal. Coming up next, it is the Hurricanes of Miami and the Bulldogs of Fresno State. This lineup for the Miami Hurricanes is brought to you by Wilson, the official game ball of the College World Series. The head coach for the Canes is Ron Frazier. This is the 11th trip for Miami to the College World Series with him, and only once have they been sent home after the first 2 games. Leading off and playing shortstop is George Robles. His on-base streak was broken at 66 on Saturday. He'll look to start a new one today. Jose Trujillo will play second base and bat second. He's number 2 on the team in doubles. In the number 3 position is Mike Fiore, the left fielder. He got him going early on Saturday, and then they cooled him off. And the cleanup spot, catcher Frank Dominguez. He has a 7-game hitting streak right now. Will Vespi is the designated hitter. He'll bat 5th. He has 7 of his last 18. Doug DeCock is the first baseman, and he'll hit 6th. He is from nearby Oskaloosa, Iowa. Ray Noriega will play right field. He'll bat 7th. Great speed, and he's the one that has to face the sun field this afternoon. In the number 8 position is Rob Word. He is only 1 of his last 20 in the playoffs. And in the number 9 spot is center fielder John Vieira, a streak hitter. He's 8 of his last 19.
And defensively for the Bulldogs, in right field, that tough sun field, Steve Hosey. In center field, Tom Goodwin. And over in left field, Jeff Mott. Around the infield, Mike Burton will play third base. Eddie Zosky is the shortstop. Steve Peirce, the second baseman. And over at first base, the power hitter, Lance Sheblin. Behind the plate, Brandon Mitchell. And on the mound, left-hander Rich Crane.
Rich Crane, a sophomore, 6 feet, 180 pounds. He's out of Fremont. One of the most improved players on the Fresno team this year. And in fact, Jim tied for number 3 in the nation with his 15 victories. And there you see the numbers on him in 150 innings pitched. Walked 54, struck out 127. First batter, George Robles, leads it off with the Miami Hurricanes, and he looks at a strike in the outside corner. 363 is average, no home runs, and at RBIs, a total of 25. Fast worker in the air to the right field. Hosey on the run, bounces in for the base hit. Couldn't get over in time, and Robles has started a brand new string again. As you heard Jim talk about on the pregame show, that he had it ended at 66 on Saturday, and he opens the ball game with a single to right field. Coaches in the game this afternoon. Over at third base and also at first, Pizzolato, that's Jim Pizzolato at first. Brad Kelly at third base, and a connection with Fresno State. is Mr. Kelly.
Brad Kelly pitched for Coach Bob Bennett during his collegiate days at Fresno State. Bob, of course, the head coach at Fresno for the last 20 years.
Jose Trujillo steps in, the #2 man, the second baseman for the Miami Hurricanes. As you see, some attention to first base as Robles leads off over there. So 2 pitches in the ball game, and on the second, he drilled it to right. Jose couldn't get over in time, and a single to open things up. Strike in the outside corner. That's John Bible, who is behind the plate today.
And we should point out quickly, that was not the sun that kept Steve Hosey from catching that ball. It was just the ball was not hit very well down the right field line, and he couldn't catch up with it.
One of the things that Fresno State did yesterday in their workout, they spent a lot of time working in the sun field, and also before the ball game again this afternoon, just to make sure that everybody had a chance to work on getting glasses down, and for that matter, playing with them on, because they play so many night games. A lot of these kids haven't worn them that much, have they, Jim?
They have not had a lot of experience with sunglasses or played games at this time of the day. Of course, they can hit fly balls at 2:30 in the afternoon, but they're still going to get a different look when they look up into that sun this time of the day. This is the toughest time of the day for them.
To the plate, pitch out of that one. 1-1 as the count goes even. And now you see what the base runner has done as far as the pacing by Crane, because he started off the first couple there. As soon as he got the ball back, he was ready to go again. But now much more deliberate as he takes a look at Robles over at first base. Fiore is the man on deck, the All-American. He's going. Swung on base, hit to the left side as the shortstop was breaking, trying to cover second. And there will be runners at first and third with nobody down for the Miami Hurricanes.
Well, this is Miami's game right here. Who's covering? Eddie Zosky is covering. But see, as he takes that one step toward the bag, Jose Trujillo with a perfect ground ball right through the normal shortstop hole, and the Hurricanes have first and third. They're not a power team. They depend on that kind of offense right there. Singles from Robles and hit and run, stolen bases.
Mike Fiore, who had a base hit in that loss on Saturday, has base hits in 21 of his last 22 games. Comes to the plate, looks at the left-hander's delivery, outside corner for a call strike. Jim, every one of these Miami hitters, I think it says something about the aggressiveness that they've come out with today. It was an 0-1 pitch that Robles hit, a 1-1 pitch that Trujillo took on. I think that maybe the talking to that they got from their coach really sunk in, going back over to first. And I'll tell you what he said, pure and simple. Frazier walked in, closed the door, said, guys, we didn't play our game, and you know that better than I. Let's forget it, have a good workout tomorrow, and come back and win a game on Monday. Very succinctly put, huh? 0-1 pitch on the way. Almost gets away. Runner going down to second. He had a huge jump on that one. He's got it easily with a stolen base. And runners at second and third for the Hurricanes. Top of the first inning with nobody down.
Much more important for Miami to score early in this ball game. See, Fresno State can get down. They got a lot of home run power. When you're a team that's built on speed like Miami, it's important to get the lead early. Fall behind, you don't use that speed as often.
Talk about who you'd like to have at the plate with men on base. This gentleman right here hitting .467 with men on base. Crane to the plate, just a little bit low, misses, and it goes 2-1. When you look at the kind of concentration and how tough an out that Mike Fiore is, 42% of his hits this year have come with a 2-strike count. Crane with the offering, fouled off, and now it goes even at 2. So we'll see if he ups that percentage as far as hits on 2 strikes. Bob Bennett. Was an all-conference catcher at Fresno State University. Did undergraduate work there, got his degree, and then also went back and got a master's degree in physical education.
One thing Mike Fiore, being the veteran that he is, knows with John Bible behind the plate today, expanded strike zone. If it's close, these hitters better be swinging.
Nobody out. Runners at second and third. That's Robles and Trujillo. 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung out and he got him. Strike 3. Put an asterisk by that one.
A clutch pitch right there by Rich Crane. Fiore usually handles this pitch and hits it to the opposite field. Crane had thrown him a lot of breaking balls and just threw that fastball right by him. I think he surprised Fiore a little bit with the velocity he had on that pitch.
Dominguez, 54 RBIs. And when we saw him before the regionals, he was in the number 7 spot. He's been moved down to number 4, and he has a 7-game hitting streak going right now. Strike called in the outside corner. 86 miles an hour, Jim, on that last pitch. The Jug Super Gun, of course, is what we're using again today and throughout the College World Series to give you an idea of how hard some of these youngsters throw. Swung on, lined to the right side, out of play. And Crane now way in front. One of the sunbathers and baseball fans down here. He's got a souvenir for the College World Series. Record-breaking crowds. That's what we've had here in Omaha, Nebraska. We mentioned to you yesterday that after the first 2 days, 22%. That's how high that they were here in Omaha over the attendance of the first 2 days ever outside for a ball. Jim, they had a record crowd again yesterday, again over 16,000 with the expanded stands. The new stands down the first base side, and then the stands out in left field beyond the left field fence. Frank had a base hit last Saturday in that loss. 1-2 delivery.
You see the importance of getting ahead. Crane gets ahead. He's been ahead of every hitter in the inning. Once you get ahead, 2 strikes like he is at Dominguez, you'll get him to chase that curveball, and that is his best pitch. He blew the fastball by Fiore, but over the course of the ball game, his curveball is going to be the pitch he'll depend on most.
So he steps back in. Count of 1-2, 1 man down. Robles at third, Trujillo at second. Swung on and fouled back, and he stays alive. Will Vespi is the man on deck, the designated hitter. Rich Crane. 15 victories on the season. You might have seen him earlier this year on an ESPN telecast we did from Fresno State. And that was in a victory over Brigham Young University. Outside corner called strike 3. Rung him up with an 85-mile-an-hour fastball.
Same pattern he used to Fiore. Got him to chase the curveball, then right on the outside corner. As we've said, the hitters know with John Bible behind the plate, as most of the umpires have been in the College World Series, a consistently liberal strike zone.
Well, Crane is good at nibbling at the corners. Quite frankly, I don't remember him throwing this hard. It was a very cool night, the night in Fresno that we saw him. I don't remember him throwing quite as hard. Gets away, coming toward the plate is Robles. He will score easily, and Trujillo will come to third, and now will throw back down, and he just got in.
Is this frustrating for Rich Crane. Here he strikes out the number 3 man Fiore and the cleanup hitter, and then gets the breaking ball low and away. Mitchell cannot quite block it, and Robles scores easily. Big break for the Hurricanes. Now Trujillo thinks if it's too far, he might try it. He gets off a little too far. Let's see, this play's a little bit closer than he thought it would be. Just got the foot in.
Swung on and fouled off to the left side. Will Vespi, number 17, the designated hitter. Wild pitch is going to be the call. Got it from the official score. Trujillo goes down to third. Yeah, a little bit lower throw down to third base. That was a very close play as it was. Brandon Mitchell, if he had gotten it down just a little bit, Trujillo was going to be out. Pitch outside and away. Count goes to 2-1. Vespi got some kidding from his teammates because it seemed like every time that Miami wound up on national television on ESPN that it was Vespi who wound up pitching. They called him Mr. Prime Time there for a period.
He's done an outstanding job. Every time we've covered a game, he's pitched and hit a home run in a high percentage of the games.
You know, he missed, Jim, I guess it was a month or maybe a little bit more. He jumped out of the back of his truck at home, sprained an ankle, and he was a casualty for a while. 3-1 pitch on the way, swung out on the ground to the shortstop. It is a base hit through the hole as Zosky was shading over towards second. And it is 2-0. Miami Hurricanes here in the top of the first.
A big 2-out hit by Will Vespi. Crane gets rid of the right-hand power hitters. Gives you an idea. You cannot figure this game out. He strikes out Fiore and Dominguez, and then a wild pitch, and Vespi goes the other way, the left-hander against the left-hand pitcher, and the Hurricanes have 2 runs.
Well, they gave him a gaping hole in the left side, and he took advantage of it. And it's 2-0 as Doug DeCock, the first baseman, and he is from the state of Iowa. Well, what, 3 hours from here? Runner is going, pitch down into the dirt, and he will get there easily. So Vespi down at second.
I don't know if Crane and Mitchell are having a problem with the signs. That ball very similar to the wild pitch that Crane threw when Robles was on third base. You see, Mitchell's a little late breaking for it, almost as if he did not expect the curveball to be coming. Now Vespi gets into second base easily, and Mitchell trots out to the mound to have a little chat with Crane about the signs.
Jim, that's 2 wild pitches in his first inning. Goes home, swung on and missed at a chin-high fastball. Wild pitch, no stolen base if you're scoring. 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on and missed again by DeCock. Going fishing on that one, and the count goes to 1-2. So the Miami Hurricanes have come up with a couple in the top of the first inning. A couple of base hits. Robles let it off. Then Trujillo followed with a base hit on the hit and run. Trujillo went down to third base. Robles stole second. Then a wild pitch. He's gotten 1 run in. Single by Vespi, scored another, so that's how we stand in the first inning.
Probably a little more relaxed today. Doug DeCock had a lot of people from his hometown in the stands in the first game on Saturday night.
Comes home, swung on, lifts it high in the air on the left side. Back behind the plate is Mitchell, and he makes the grab for the third out, but not before. A couple of base hits for the Miami Hurricanes. They tally 2 runs, 2-0. Fresno State coming to bat. This starting lineup for Fresno State is being brought to you by Wilson, the official game ball of the College World Series. The head coach at Fresno State is Bob Bennett. He's a former all-conference catcher for the school. Now he's been their head coach for the last 20 years. Leading off and playing center field is Tom Goodwin. The NCAA stolen base leader is going to have to get on board today if the Dogs are going to be successful. In the number 2 position is shortstop Eddie Zosky, second on the team in RBIs. He had 1 hit on Saturday. In the number 3 position, first baseman Lance Sheblett, hitting .399, but he was held to only 1 hit last Saturday. In the cleanup spot is catcher Brandon Mitchell, 4 home runs in the last 4 regional games. In the 5 position is third baseman Mike Burton. He had 3 hits on Saturday, 1 of them a home run. In the number 6 spot is right fielder Steve Hosey, batting .368. The Sunfield gave him fits in Saturday's loss. In the 7th spot, second baseman Steve Pearce. He had 111 hits during the season. He was blanked on Saturday. In the number 8 position, designated hitter Steve Vondren, 15 home runs and 44 RBIs. And in left field, in the number 9 spot, is Jeff Mott, hitting .316 with 43 RBIs.
And out in the field, the Hurricanes will line up like this. Ray Noriega in right field. John Vieira, the center fielder, and All-American Mike Fiore over in left. Around the infield at third base, Rob Word. George Robles is the shortstop. Jose Trujillo, the second baseman. And Doug DeCock, the first baseman from nearby Oskaloosa, Iowa. Behind the plate, Frank Dominguez, and on the plate, on the mound, veteran right-hander Stephen Major.
He is a fifth-year senior, Jim, 6'1", 187 pounds, hometown Poland Village, Ohio. And you see he was 4-2 this year. And some other numbers on him as far as his 1988 season as you take a look at how many innings he pitched. The most innings pitched was 8. The most strikeouts in the ball game, 7. He did that twice. And the most bases on balls, 4. And that happened to him twice. Ray Noriega, you see him adjusting his sunglasses out there in right field. And not to make too much of this, but this is right about the time between
probably haven't had many College World Series where there has been so much attention focused on the right fielder.
That's right.
His first time playing this time of the day. The reason, of course, we've had such bright, clear skies here in Omaha this time of the day.
Tom Goodwin leads it off. Looks second in RBIs on this ball club. The runner down at first.
See him glance away. As he threw that pitch, Major glanced over to first base. That's what we've seen so often in the early games. The pitchers focusing more of their attention on the runner than the hitter. Not a good habit.
Zosky had 1 hit in that first ball game. There goes the runner. Throw goes down for Dominguez, and he is safe. Jimmy's the NCAA leader in stolen bases, and watch how quickly he gets there.
And Major even used the glide step. He tried to unload the ball as quickly as he could to Dominguez. With the speed of a good one, so much pressure on the catcher, Dominguez tried to unload that ball in a hurry, just did not have a lot on it.
2-0 the count, swung out and missed. Zosky behind on that one. Zosky also had an RBI in Saturday's ball game. Within the last month, also a sprained ankle, has come back from both. John Bible says strike 2 on the outside corner. Nobody out. Tom Goodwin, who led off the bottom of the first for Fresno State, down at second base, following the single. Swung out and missed, fouled it off, and the catcher, Frank Dominguez, couldn't hold on. Goodwin with the lead as Robles steps in behind him, fakes it anyway. Here he comes, swung out and missed, down in the dirt. Pitch will go down to first base, and he is down. Look at the dimensions here at Rosenblatt Stadium. In case you're not familiar with it, to left and to right, 343, power alleys 370, and a straightaway center. Folks, that's pretty good clout, 420. And today we do have the prevailing winds again. But, Jim, I think they're blowing more to left center and straightaway than yesterday as they were blowing to left.
Now, once again, any ball airborne toward left center is going to have a chance to carry over the wall.
Lance Sheplet, the first baseman. 399 is his average, down in the dirt. Good job by Dominguez as he corkscrews back behind the plate, and Sheplet has to step out of the way. You look at the home run number there, that's number 2 in the nation among NCAA competitors in Division I, 92 RBIs. And he was drafted by Detroit in the 3rd round this past week. On the way, line drive, and it is foul. had to wait for a moment because of our depth perception from where we sit behind home plate, and it looked for a moment that he might even reach that foul pole in right field with the line drive, Jim, but it kind of tailed away at the last moment.
Well, he's got power to all fields. Of course, a right-hand hitter is going to have to really hit it hard to get it over the right field wall. About the only way you could do that is to hit the ball the way Shevlet did right there on the line. A lazy fly out there, the wind is going to hurt, whereas the lazy fly to left, the wind will help it.
Miami leads it 2-0. Bottom of the first inning. 1 out. 1-1 to count on Shevlet, and down on second base is Tom Goodwin. Line drive just fouled to the left side. Heart attack for the third base coach there for a moment. It's not the guy you want at the plate to hang a curveball. And he had a pitch to hit. He was just out in front of it, didn't he?
You see so many of the coaches nowadays really get way out of the box when you have hitters like Shevlet there. They go way down the left field line for a little protection.
Goodwin single to lead it off. Then Zosky struck out. Now we have Shevlet. The count is at 1-2. Major steps off. Take a look at the base coaches. We were laughing about the gentleman at third. Mike Rupchick is the man who was doing the dance down there and then patted his chest. And Tim Payton is over at first base. Major to the stretch. Runner is going. Hit and run is on. Deep drive to left. Way back. It is gone. A line drive home run by Lance Shevlet. And I don't think it got over 20 feet in the air. Good heavens. Oh, my goodness.
Well, you talk about a ball getting small in a hurry. I mean, this is like a line drive to shortstop. Then we mentioned Majors, the importance of command of the breaking ball. That's not command of it. Bell tie. Great extension by Shevlet. And this ball was hit on a line right out over the 370 mark.
Brandon Mitchell, the catcher, steps up following the 32nd home run of the year by Lance Shevlet, and just like that, and Jim Cotton made the point so vividly in the pregame or just a moment ago that it was so important for Miami to get out early because of the fact that Fresno could score so quickly. Pops it up behind the plate. Dominguez is back looking up into that bright sky, and he makes the catch for the second out.
Tell you one thing, the wind didn't get any chance to help or hurt that ball.
That's a fine job by Dominguez. That is not just a routine play at this time of day, with the very bright skies. So 2 down for Fresno State here in the bottom half of the first inning, and we're tied at 2. Mike Burton, 16 home runs, 352 is his average. Great opening day. 3 for 4, also had a home run. He did his share. In fact, he brought him back into the ballgame. He cut the advantage to 3-2, but then Stanford just kept on coming back. The count with 2 men down, bottom of the first. Curveball, left hook. There's Lance Shevlet. A quiet young man, and we saw a moment ago that he does his talking with his bat. Look at those records. Boy. 2-1 delivery on the way. Outside, and it's 3-1. Delivery on the way. Outside corner, strike called, and it goes full. Swung on. Line drive, deep left field, and it is curving foul.
See, the Fresno State hitters, when you look at Shevlet and Burton, anything inside. Look at how quickly he gets the barrel of the bat through. That looked like almost the identical swing that Cobb took off Joe Gray. Keith Cobb the other night for Cal State Fullerton.
3-2 pitch on the way. In the air to the right side. Coming hard is Noriega and can't make the catch. He had a long run right there. And didn't seem to be affected by it.
Lead ball there, he had enough of an angle on. He was actually, the ball was, he was running and looking away from the sun. That's not going to be the tough one. Talking with Hosey before the ball game, he said the tough ones are not the high flies, but those ones that are kind of semi-line drives.
Jim, those are not the flip-ups. He's just wearing sunglasses out there in right field.
Well, if you're not accustomed to flipping them up and down, you're probably better off just wearing them down all the time.
Situation 2-2 tie. 2 outs, bottom of the first. And again, the full count delivery. Mitchell stays alive one more time.
Now he's got him.
Yeah, they are flip ups, yep. He's got him back up again. Have to wonder if he is uncomfortable with him as he continues to play with him quite a bit. Lofted foul again to the right side.
Most of the college games are played at night, and quite frankly, the sunglasses are entirely new to the outfielders on the collegiate level. Not have a lot of experience using them. Some have used them in summer leagues, but not very often.
Stephen Major. Low for ball 4. So Major now is beginning to total up quite a few pitches in this first inning. And he loses Mitchell, and it brings up Mike Burton.
Well, that's a good at-bat right there by Mike Burton. Fouled off a couple of tough pitches on 3-2 and then drew a base on balls. And you make a good point about Major throwing a lot of pitches. He has no complete games. They figured he gets 6 innings maximum out of him, but in 6 to 7 innings, if he throws more than 80 to 90 pitches, he's in trouble. And there you see he's already thrown 25 with 2 out here in the first inning.
So Burton's down at first, and Steve Hosey, the right fielder, comes up. Number 6 hitter in the Fresno State lineup. Dominguez keeps it in front of him. Burton's not going to do a lot of running anyway unless they put the play on. Hosey had a base hit in that opening game of the loss Saturday. They went for a pretty good-sized kid. He's got some awfully good speed. No delivery. Offs a foul off to the right side. That'll be in the stands.
He's going to be an outstanding player. Hosey, he's just a sophomore. 6'3", 218. You get down on field level, up next to him, he's like an NFL running back.
He's got 11-game hitting streak right now. 1-1 pitch, outside corner, says John Bible, strike 2. To right field. Noriega is there, and he's got it for the 3rd out. But not before Fresno State comes up with a couple of hits and a towering home run by Lance Shevlin. We're tied at 2. Let's head to the top of the 2nd. As you take a look at some of what appears to be some of the Fresno State faithful right there with their red towels. 2-2 our score. The Hurricanes 2 runs in the top of the first, and Fresno State comes right back with 2 runs on 2 hits in the bottom of the first. We'll look at Ray Noriega, Rob Word, and John Vieira in the Miami half of the 2nd. Swung on and missed.
Noriega also also a switch hitter that hits better from the left side of the plate, so having the left-hander on the mound for Fresno State, of course, turns him around, gives him a little better percentage.
Strike outside corner.
Hey, you've heard the expression short-arming the ball, and some pitchers. Now look at the motion right here of Rich Crane. See, he does not extend his left arm back towards second base very far. Just a little bit of a flip right there, cocks his wrist, and then toward home plate. Very much a short armer.
According to the Judge Supergun, that one was 84 miles an hour, the pitch just prior to that.
You see Gooden and Clemens and Ryan and your hard throwers. They will extend that throwing arm back towards second base and make a much bigger arc than a short armer like Rich Crane.
On the ground, just by third base, fair ball. Burton couldn't get over to it. Noriega heading for two. Ball is still loose in the corner. He'll head for three, and let's see if they bring him. Nope, they'll hold him up, but it is a lead-off triple for Ray Noriega in the top of the second.
Well, once again, the percentages say Robles and Noriega are not as good a hitters right-handed. What do? Robles leads off the game with a single. Noriega hits the breaking ball down the third baseline. And once again, that chair, I think, bothered left fielder Jeff Mott just a little. The chair down there in the bullpen, now he has a little problem picking up the ball. And Noriega, with great speed, makes it into third easily.
A lead-off triple. Triple number 7 on the season for Noriega. And Rob Word, the third baseman, who was looking for his second base hit, Jim, in the playoffs. He's 1 for 20.
The bottom of the Miami batting order has really struggled. Word and John Vieira. Vieira hitting a little better in postseason play.
In the air to the right side. Posey under the ball. And here comes Noriega toward the plate. He'll never get him in time with his speed. And it is 3-2 Miami.
That's a boost to the Hurricanes. Get a little production out of the bottom half of that batting order. For the most part, they depend on Fiore and Dominguez, and they both struck out in a run-scoring situation in the first. So it's been Vespi and Word that have knocked the runs in.
John Vieira, the center fielder for the Hurricanes, steps in. 37 RBIs of the years. He looks at the ball just outside. Well, we talked about what Ron Frazier had said. What did that man say after his club lost the opening game on Saturday and lost badly? He said, quite frankly, we were shocked and we were embarrassed. We didn't play well. And you saw the team meeting in our pregame show that he had a little pep talk with the guys from Fresno State. Vieira looks at a strike in the inside corner. To the first baseman, Shedlick will make the play easily, and there are 2 down in the Miami half of the second inning.
Well, Ron, here's two schools that are very aware of the success that each of them have had on the diamond. Great baseball programs over the years, yet this is the first time that Fresno State and Miami have ever met. It's hard to imagine because they both have such great tradition as baseball schools.
Interesting thing also is when you look at how many times that Fresno has not made it to Fresno State has not made it to the College World Series, is the fact that 5 different times, Jim, that they were in the regional, the team that beat them wound up coming to Omaha and winning the College World Series. So it may not have been to Omaha as much as the Miamis, the Texas, the Oklahoma States, clubs like that, but they have certainly had some, as you pointed out, some very, very fine competitive ball clubs.
No, we've said right at the beginning of the College World Series, it's not necessarily the 8 best teams that get to Omaha, but the 8 teams that play the best, especially in regional play. .85 miles an hour. think you'll find most of the pitchers early in the games here have been overthrowing the ball a little bit.
2-1 pitch on the way. Line drive, base hit into left field. Mott picks it up on one hop and gets it back in quickly. But George Robles took that 2-1 pitch and lined it into left field. And Jim, he's 2 for 2 on the day.
George says, I got to get a new streak going. 66 straight games. Fastball up in the strike zone. An example of Crane overthrowing the fastball a little bit. When he's up there 85, 86, that's too fast for him. He's down there mid-80s with a little more movement. He's got to get more ground balls to be effective.
You know, Crane's been interesting in these first 2 innings. Really kind of a roller coaster ride for him. Bob Bennett said he hasn't pitched well in his last 2 or 3 outings, and at times he looks as though that he is fluid and it's there, and then all of a sudden, as the base runner goes, big jump, throw down in time, and they nailed him.
Boy, great throw right there.
Brandon Mitchell nails George Robles, and that is out number 3 as we take a look at it one more time. Robles had a very good jump. Here you see. And Mitchell in one continuous motion. Here he comes right here, and the throw on the money. So let's take a break. Miami picks up a run, and they go in front. We'll be right back.
Well, there's a look at some of the players on these 2 teams, Fresno State and Miami, who have been drafted. You see right there, John Sayles, 3rd round by the Cubs. Lance Shevlett, Steve Buchholz. And now here's some picks of stars that are in the major leagues today. So, hey, if you get drafted in that 15th round, don't feel bad. Saberhagen was drafted as a shortstop. Look at Keith Hernandez, the 42nd round. So Mike Fiore, who many of the scouts feel doesn't throw well enough, doesn't run well enough, might turn out to be a great ball player.
Steve Pearce, the second baseman for Fresno State, will lead it off in the 2nd inning. 3-2. Miami leads this one. The Hurricanes with a total of 5 hits already. And for Fresno State, they've got a pair. Steve would like to get something going today. He was silenced on Saturday in that loss. He had 111 hits during the regular season, but failed to connect against Stanford. 0 for 4. Chin high fastball, and he goes after that one, and he is working behind here. 0-2. His dad is a baseball coach, Jim, out in California. Laney Junior College, just outside. Misses the tailing fastball.
There's the speed of Major's fastball. That's about as fast as it gets. He's an 86, 87. Depends on the curveball. He's got to get movement just like Crane does. It's the reason he's only given up 1 home run coming into today's game. Of course, Shevlett doubled that total.
1-2 delivery on the ground to the first baseman. Almost bad hopped him, but the count is right there, and there's 1 down in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
You know, we showed those draft picks. I couldn't help but think of reading a lot of the articles in recent days about young players who are disturbed, disappointed when they haven't been picked high enough. You know, I mean, you'd like to get each one of them and say, don't worry about what round you're drafted in. Just go out and play and prove that you can play. Keith Hernandez, 42nd round, be a good example. Don't worry about how high they pick you.
Steve Ogren, the designated hitter, number 12. You see, 8-hitter for Fresno State steps in. 1 down at the bottom of the 2nd. Bulldogs trying to get back even in this one. Has really been hot. Jim, 7 home runs and 13 RBIs. That's in his last 12 games. Swung on and missed. And he's working behind. Much better job by Major this inning of working in front of the batters.
Even though he's had College World Series experience, pitched an inning and 2/3 here in '85 when Miami won. Still some first inning jitters that he had to get over.
Curveball, he hung it, and he got away with the pitch right there. You can see how far that one went. And his Vondrant was way out in front, but he almost got his 8th home run right there.
Now, when you tend to overthrow the fastball, sometimes you do the same thing with the curveball, and that's where it ends up. You don't want that thing belt high. You want it about ankle high.
1-2 pitch. Went after it. Strike 3 called, so there are 2 down in the second. It's his second strikeout of the afternoon major. And Jeff Mott, the left fielder. To show you what you face in this lineup, look at the number right there in the middle. Not only the fact that he hits .316, when your number 9 hitter has 9 dingers, pitcher really doesn't get a chance to relax, does he?
Didn't get a chance to relax on that one, the hitter. I think Stephen Major threw him a little calling card right there. Hey, if I'm going to pitch inside, I got to get it way in.
The Bengals couldn't even find that one. Went all the way back to the fence. Strike called to the outside corner.
Wow. Good fastball for Stephen Major. Good fastball for anybody.
Broke it off nicely. Strike 2 called. So in every batter this inning, before Pearce grounded out, he had him 1-2. Before Vondrant, on the 3rd strike, he had him 1-2, and he's now 1-2 on Jeff Mott, so he's staying in front. The concentration.
Both pitchers today, although they've thrown a lot of pitches in the early going, have been getting ahead of hitters. They just have not had the ability to polish them off.
Two men out in the bottom of the second inning, down into the dirt. And the count goes 2-2. Another beautiful day in Omaha, Nebraska. 3 in a row we've had now. Swung on and fouled off again. In fact, the extended forecast, he said in the noon weathercast, Jim Cott, is that bad news for the farmers, good news for the baseball series. So we see a lot of blue. We haven't seen a cloud in the last 3 days, I don't think, have we? 2-2 offering, high in the air. Shortstop George Robles makes the call, and they're 3 down. So Fresno State goes down in order, 1-2-3 in the bottom of the second inning. And as we head to the third, it is Miami 3-2. We'll be right back. Having fun at the old ballpark, and they're watching a good one. 3-2, the Miami Hurricanes leading Fresno State as we go to the top of the third inning.
Well, these people come out to the early game. You can get a suntan watching baseball at the same time. You mentioned the weather has been absolutely perfect. No clouds, bright sunshine. Right fielders don't like it, but the fans do.
What are the Sugar Canes? Come on, guys, keep it down. Out of the Miami bench. Jose Trujillo leads it off here in the third inning. Remember, he was at the plate when George Robles was caught stealing to end the second inning. Trujillo singled back in the first. Looks at a strike in the outside corner as the count goes even. Somebody's got to go home. We're in the losers bracket here. Second day of elimination. Cal was eliminated yesterday as they took on the Florida Gators. Florida got the win, and they stayed alive in the losers bracket. Crane looked like he overthrew a little bit on that one. Rode high, and the count goes even at 2. Fouled off to the right side. Shevlin gave chase for just a moment, but it was lined over there pretty well, so he didn't have a chance. Tonight in the winners bracket, a couple of California schools, Cal State Fullerton and the Stanford Cardinal. Can they repeat? No, it hasn't happened in 14 years. Sam Rosen and Jim Cott will let you know this evening. As in between ball games, we'll go to Sports Center and then come back to Omaha, Nebraska for the second part of the doubleheader. 5 straight days of doubleheaders here from Omaha.
A lot of talk at the big league level about corking bats and doctoring bats. Trujillo usually uses a graphite bat. You know, the regional game against South Carolina, June Raines, the South Carolina coach, made him take it out of play. Now, if the coaches agree ahead of time, you can use a wood or a graphite bat, but you have to have permission from the other coach.
3-2 pitch on the way, on the ground to the right side, and he gets it through for the base hit. So Robles and Trujillo both are just on fire this afternoon. They are 2 for 2, both of them.
Ball down there was in time, just was not accurate.
Stolen base number 32. You know, I've seen sliding gloves and all the extra equipment, but that timeout was called, and he gave him his belt. You have a stealing belt.
We'll get a shot of that before this game's over about what base runners put in their hand to keep from jamming their hand and breaking that wrist bone.
Swung on, excuse me, swing. Hurst goes to first base, and Fiore probably did not like the fact that he grounded out rather than getting the base hit, but he sacrificed himself to move his teammate over to third base in Trujillo.
Well, I'm sure you see him shake his hand right there saying, good job, Mike, you got him over. But Mike Fiore really did not mean to hit that pitch. Sure, he hits the ball to the right side a lot, but he wanted to take a little more aggressive swing, yet he has Trujillo at third base with just 1 out.
So we got 1 man down at the top of the 3rd inning. And it is Frank Dominguez, the catcher. He struck out also in the 1st inning, his first time around. Strike call. Talked about the 6 hits that the Canes have. 2 by Robles, 2 by Trujillo. Noriega has the triple that he led off the 2nd with, and then Will Vespi also with an RBI single back in the 1st inning, the designated hitter. Oh, 0-1 delivery, swung on, fouls it off, and he works behind 0-2. Zosky was another man that Bob Bennett said was very tight, the shortstop for Fresno State in that opening ball game. This big fellow right here doesn't seem to be feeling any pressure from anything. You see what he hits with runners on base, and as we told you when we gave the lineups, a 7-game hitting streak for Dominguez. And back in the regular season when we had them on, he was the number 7 hitter. Now you notice he is in the cleanup spot. Ron Franklin along with Jim Cott. Glad to have you along in the College World Series from Omaha, Nebraska. 3-2, the Hurricanes on top as we play in the top of the 3rd inning. Dandy day as far as the lineup. Tonight, Cal State Fullerton and Stanford in the 2nd game of the doubleheader. We'll go back to Sports Center, then have the 2nd game as Sam Rosen will be here, and Mr. Cott's going to work a doubleheader today.
Great day for 2. That's what Ernie always said.
2-2 pitch, 1 man down, swung on and lofted in the air back to the right, but it goes foul.
Yeah, we should quickly update those following the College World Series. 1 team eliminated yesterday, California. The loser of this game will be eliminated, and then tomorrow, Arizona State and Florida in the 1st game. The loser of that will go home. Nobody wants to go home. They're having fun here in Omaha.
You see the sign there, the Homer Hounds. We love our dogs. Some of the folks that have traveled in, strike 3, and that is twice in a row that Dominguez has gone down on strikes.
Boy, has he done a good job against Fiore and Dominguez. We mentioned at the top of the show the 2 guys that Miami would depend on against the left-hand pitcher would be Fiore and Frank Dominguez, but he has thrown the fastball right by them. Good location, low and away.
2 out, top of the 3rd, and it's Will Vespi. Singled his first time, the designated hitter. Have to wonder if we'll see primetime Vespi today in this ball game. Doing something other than DHing. One-0 delivery inside corner for a strike call. Should Vespi get aboard? Doug DeCock, the first baseman, he is on deck. Strike on the inside corner again. Wasn't real happy.
Well, the hitters know by now. They know that all of the umpires that have been back there have had a rather wide plate. We're into the 7th game. If they don't know by now, there's something wrong.
2 men out, top of the 3rd. 1-2 pitch coming to Vespi.
You mentioned, would we see Vespi take the mound today? I think the plans for Miami, if they can get through today's game and win without using freshman Greg Knowles, then he would start tomorrow. If they have to bring Knowles into the game today, he set the freshman record, or tied the freshman record for wins, tied Neil Heaton, who's now with the Expos. Knowles won 8, lost 2. They use him today and win. Vespi will start tomorrow's ball game.
Hit it hard, Will. Hit it hard.
Ron Frazier, NCAA's winningest coach, as Vespi steps out. This is the 11th time that the Canes have come to Omaha to the College World Series, and only one other time and they've been sent home after losing the first 2 ball games. Pitch on the ground to the second baseman. Should be an easy out for Steve Pearce, and it is. So the Miami Hurricane leave one at third base as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. 3-2. We'll be right back.
You hear the term short-arming the ball. We mentioned Rich Crane's motion. Let's get a look at it. See, as he gets into his windup, he will not reach that pitching arm back very far towards second base. Cocks it in a hurry and then quickly delivers to home. That's short-arming the ball. Now let's look at Stephen Major. He goes into his motion, gets a little more extension. You see much more extension in that arm. Great pitching mechanics, and that's of course the reason he has thrown a 90-mile-an-hour fastball today. Crane's best has been about 85. Good shot, guys.
Bottom of the 3rd for Fresno State. Top of the order, Tom Goodwin singled in the 1st. Came in to score the first run of the game on Lance Shevlett's home run. You talk about a torrid hot shot. Wow.
Today is Monday, isn't it? Wash day. You hang the wash on that one. Frozen rope.
Goodwin also had a stolen base. He was the NCAA leader in that category coming into the College World Series. Had 61, so it's a total of 62 now. Tries to lay down a bunch. Strike call.
That's the reason Rob Word playing in on the grass. Goodwin with that great speed. Once he gets it on the ground, very tough to get.
Jim, 33 times this year, he's got infield singles. 1-2 delivery. Putting that away a little bit. You can see the signals coming in for the Miami bench just a moment ago. To Dominguez. 2-2 pitch, solidly hit through the hole. Robles couldn't get there, and Tom Goodwin is 2 for 2 on the afternoon. So the leadoff man is on, and that means put on the track spikes, get ready for the pitch out, and a lot of attention over to first base again.
Well, both these leadoff men have done their job. They're the table setters, Robles and Goodwin. 4 for 4 between the two of them. But really, to pitch out against a guy like Goodwin, a low percentage, the only thing Stephen Major can try to do, vary his count, unload the ball quickly. With Goodwin's speed, he's going to, once he gets to first base, he's going to steal a high percentage of the time anyway. Don't throw him out very often.
Zosky struck out back in the 1st inning, comes in. Zosky's the #2 RBI man on this Bulldog ball club. That's the reason that in the first inning, when Goodwin led off with a base hit, and again here in the third, you'd be surprised if Fresno State bunted him. Major given up 3 Fresno State hits so far. Quick motion. And the bat had been down a little bit. They had a pretty good shot at him. And here comes Bob Bennett out. He wanted a balk called on that.
Now we haven't. The only balk we've seen called at the collegiate level is the one where Bruckner, the Miami relief pitcher, didn't realize third base was not occupied, and he stopped in the middle of his motion. See, Bennett wants to say, hey, he's turning his shoulder and throwing at the same time. But on the college level, unlike the pro level, they allow the pitcher to get away with that. I mean, you've got to really do something drastic on the college level to be called for a balk. This is the spin move. Sure, it's a balk, but they don't call it here.
Zosky squares around to bunt, lets it go, call strike.
And they are consistent with it. It's not that they call it on a couple of guys and not on others. They just let you get by with just about anything.
Goodwin, you see the size of that lead, and makes the run high in the air, left field, way back. Did Zosky get it all? No, sir. Great catch by Mike Fiore at the top of the fence, and Goodwin, who was all the way down at second base, has to make a speedy retreat to first. Mike Fiore, time and time again, has come up with this kind of play.
Now, we mentioned the lazy fly balls that would benefit the hitter. See, this ball not hit hard. You see Fiore, quick glance at the wall. Now, he senses when he hits the warning track right there. He knows how far he is. Sticks that bare hand out just to see if he can find the wall and times it perfectly.
And Jim, it would have been over, as you could see where his hands were. So he took a home run away had he not gotten back. The guy has made that kind of play so many times in college. For the people in Miami, it's almost commonplace. They expect him to do it. And I think it's the reason that people like you, myself, Ron Frazier, think it doesn't matter where he's drafted. He's going to wind up playing somewhere and doing a good job. Lance Shepard hit a line drive home run in the first. Runner is going, pitch out is on, and they got it. Well, I'm anxious to see a replay on this one. That one is very, very close. Great throw by Dominguez.
Boy, what a great job right there by Major. Takes 2 people to get a base stealer. The pitcher, you see the glide step, unloads the ball quickly, and then Dominguez, with good execution, snaps it down there in a hurry. Boy, you don't get him very often. That's only the 11th time that he's been thrown out. Good position by Trujillo right there on the tag also. Too often you see infielders taking the throw well ahead of second base, and they have to reach back too far. He was right on the bag where he could drop the glove down, make the tag.
So both catchers have served notice to the speedy leadoff and #2 men that they can get it down in time to nail them. Goodwin caught stealing. Robles was caught back in the second inning for the Miami Hurricanes. Hey, you hungry for a good Omaha hot dog, or is that that's chicken they're eating there? In the air to the right side. It's going to be fouled off to the right side.
They do a little tailgating here in Omaha at Rosenblatt Stadium. They take their own. Fresno State has a good number of fans here following them. All the schools do, really. They each have their own little cheering section that has followed them here to the College World Series.
Good look at Rosenblatt Stadium and this beautiful weather that we're having. Pops it up to the right side, and that's going to be fouled again. In case you missed it, Shepard hit a home run, his 32nd of the year, back in the first inning. That may not have gone higher than, help me, Jimmy, what, 20, 25 feet, and that's about it?
He got out there in a hurry. That's the kind, as a pitcher, you visit your local chiropractor the next day. Get whiplash turning around trying to follow that ball.
Major to the plate with the 1-2 pitch, swung on and fouled. That's the third straight as we look at the Jug super gun. Third straight at 89 miles an hour.
Well, after he came out after the first inning, and I think Stephen Major said, hey, I'm the senior. This could be my last college game. We don't have too much down there in the bullpen. I got to get a handle on things here and give the Hurricanes at least 5 or 6 solid innings.
Shevlin fouls off another. To the count, 2 men out, bottom of the third. Miami leading this one by 1 run over Fresno State. Canes got 2 in the first, 1 in the second. Fresno State, because of this man, a 2-run homer in the first inning. That's how we stand. Home run for Shepard, his second base hit of the College World Series. Major, and he gets him to pop it up. On the left side, the shortstop Robles is out, makes the call, and he's got it. 3 men down here in the third inning. Side is retired, and another look at Mike Fiore, who saved a home run. As we head to the 4th inning, take another look at it yourself. Fiore over the top of the fence, and it's an out. Yesterday's scores in the West Division to keep you up to date with what's going on in the College World Series. Florida won over California, so the Golden Bears have headed home. They were the first team eliminated. Wichita State knocked off Arizona State in the nightcap, which means that the Sun Devils have been sent to the losers bracket. They will play Florida, and the winner of that ball game has to face Wichita State again, since both of them have already played. Wichita State knocked off Florida in the first ball game. This is a losers bracket game that we have for you right now. An elimination game, maybe is a better way to put it. Fresno State and the Miami Hurricanes. Whoever wins stays alive in the losers bracket, and of course the other club goes home.
Boy, what a gutty performance by Greg Brummett. Wichita State right-hander last night went all the way. Beat Arizona State.
I know he threw a lot of pitches, but he wasn't about to come out of the baseball game.
Oh, he used that Jugs gun quite a bit during the College World Series. You could see he still had good pop on the fastball at the end of the ball game.
Doug DeCock down to the count, 1-2. Strike 3 called. Ron Frazier, the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, and his 2 brothers.
Oh, family affair. Well, they love their college baseball down in Miami. What a job Ron Frazier's done. He's probably more responsible for the college game being on television and the exposure that it's received than any college coach in the nation.
Strikeout number 4 for Rich Crane. Ray Noriega pops this one to the right side, giving chase, and he got it. Steve Hosey, long run, and he came over and made the catch. There are 2 down very quickly here in the 4th.
How about that? Steve Hosey says, take that. You know, talking to him around the batting cage today, he was very determined and not in a very lighthearted mood about going back out to right field. Coach Bob Bennett had considered flip-flopping Mott and Steve Hosey. He says, no, I can play right field. I'm comfortable out there. I'll get the job done.
You were telling me this morning that you felt sure that the youngster not only wanted to play right field again today, but wanted to come to him very early so he could go ahead and get rid of anything that might have been left in his mind. High fly, left field. Back is Mott just in front of the warning track. And for the first time, no, second time this afternoon, the Miami Hurricanes are down in orders. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Our score remains 3-2, Canes on top. Be sure and join Kerry Ross with ESPN Sports Center immediately following this ball game, and then we will come back here to Rosenblatt Stadium for game number 2 tonight. Jim Cott will be working alongside with Sam Rosen. Stanford Cardinal against the Cal State Fullerton Titans. Sure, one of the things that Kerry Ross will be talking about is the fact that Houston Rockets head basketball coach Bill Fitch fired today. We've got a good one going here in the elimination game number 2 on this 4th day of the College World Series. Brandon Mitchell, who popped out his first time, will lead it off for the Bulldogs. Just to lay down a bunt. That one goes foul.
Not very often you see your cleanup hitter bunt. Guy with 13 home runs, but of course he's got guys behind him that can drive him in. You wouldn't want to see a hitter bunt if you had a couple of singles hitters down the bottom of the order, but in Burton's case, or rather Mitchell, he's got Burton with 16 homers and Hosey behind him with 13, so he's got guys that can knock him in.
Stephen Major, 61 pitches so far. You know what Mitchell told Bob Bennett, the coach, earlier on this year? Asked him if he could move somewhere other than high fly, left field, and it's curving foul. Boy, he hit that a mile. But he asked Bob Bennett, the coach, partly tongue-in-cheek, but he was half serious also. He said, can I hit somewhere other than cleanup because Chevlet's been so hot? I never get to hit with men on base.
That's a nice problem to have. This swing reminds me a lot of Keith Cobb, who we'll see in the second game here for Cal State Fullerton. Any ball on the inside part of the plate, he really gets the barrel out quickly.
Cobb is a big fella, 6'4", what, 220 pounds? 1-2 the count. Brandon Mitchell leads it off here in the home half of the 4th inning. Fresno State trailing Miami 3-2. Canes with 6 hits, 3 for the Bulldogs. Brings it even. Have a bite there, Mr. Cott.
It's pretty tasty right about now. It's getting close to dinner time.
Nobody out, bottom of the 4th. 2-2 pitch on the ground to the shortstop. Roble should handle this one easily. He does. And we have 1 out in the 4th. Burton, the big third baseman, will step up and take his swings. You know, Burton should know Major as well as anybody on this club. They played summer ball together.
I'll tell you what, he's the hottest hitter they have going right now, too. He has had some postseason. The first game of the College World Series, 3 for 4. Knocked in 2 runs, 2-run homer.
Maybe that's the reason he was able to draw a walk that first time. The fact that Major knew him a little better and had that kind of respect. But he gets him to pop it up. Short left field. Fiore moving in, makes the catch, and we have 2 down. He fooled him just enough, Jim. Got him to pop it up.
See, Burton really stands a long ways away from home plate. Unless he really goes into the ball, we'll have trouble reaching the ball away from him. Look how far he has to reach for that ball. And despite all that power, he hits the ball on the end of the bat.
Steve Hosey, the right fielder, flied out his first time back in the 1st inning. Ball just a little bit low. John Bible, the home plate umpire today, 2nd time, in fact, as they make the rotation around the infield. 2nd time that we have seen him behind the plate. I guess last Friday in that opening game. He worked that one, fouled off the catcher's mask. Here's John Bible out of Austin, Texas.
He's a former pitcher down there in Texas. I think that's why he's got a nice pitcher strike zone.
What was it Steve Herring was telling us, one of the other umpires here at the College World Series down in Miami, that they now have a new rotation on, that after you've been to the College World Series, what, you can work it 2 years in a row, and then they rotate you out to what, like Division II, Division III, or something like that. But anyway, you don't get to work it as many years running as they have in the past.
Hey, about that, got him a Wilson 10-10. That's the official ball of the College World Series. You can almost see the high seams.
Yep, you really
the higher seams on the ball here at the College World Series than they play with during the season. That's why the pitchers love it. They get a better grip on that curveball.
1 1-2 pitch. Outside and away, misses. That was not the ball that Shevlin hit because that one was still round. I'd love to
I think
see
that one was flat. Yeah, the one Shevlin hit was flat.
2-2 count with 2 men out. Bottom of the 4th inning. Fresno State trailing Miami 3-2. On the ground, Robles with another chance. Backhands the ball, throws nicely, and 1-2-3. 2 innings in a row now that Major has taken Fresno State down in order. No runs on no hits. And we head to the 5th. Canes on top. We'll be right back.
Annie Savoy knows talent when she sees it.
You're a powerful young thing, Abby Calvin.
But there's just no substitute for experience.
I believe in long, slow, deep, soft, wet kisses that last 3 days.
Oh, my.
Kevin Costner. Susan Sarandon. Bull Durham. Rated R. Starts Wednesday, June 15th.
Miami 3-2 over Fresno State. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Here's the play that ended the bottom of the 4th. George Robles, now he's used to playing on artificial turf. And this is the habits that turf players get into. Play the ball off to the side. Still makes the play. Last night you saw a good example of shortstops that get in front of the ball. Mike Lansing from Wichita State. It's his body in front of it. George plays it off to the side because he's used to playing on turf where you get no bad hops.
There's the maniac. Autry running for president. He's with a couple of the Sugar Canes. Is that or just a couple of fans?
There's a few people down in Miami who'll vote for him.
John Vieira, the number 9 hitter in the order for the Hurricanes, the center fielder. Line shot into right field. That's a tough chance, and Hosey makes the catch. Oh, my goodness. I'll tell you what, he didn't have much time to think about it, and he negotiated it beautifully.
Wow, that's a rewarding play right there for Steve Hosey. Got the glasses down, having trouble picking it up, but he good concentration, keeps his eye on it. Yeah, I picked it. A little better time handling that sun today than he did in the first game.
See that they're shifting him around a little bit as George Robles comes to the plate. George has been sizzling so far. 2 for 2, singled in the first, singled in the second. Jim, to show you how these 2 pitchers have calmed down. 9 hits in the ball game. 5 of them came in the first inning alone.
Well, Crane through the first 3 through 62 pitches. Last inning he got him out with just 6. And gets the first pitch out here in the top of the 5th.
Strike called inside corner. Bob Bennett. Bob told us today, he said, if we don't play any better than we did in that opening game, then we don't deserve to stay in Omaha. Strike 3 called for the first time today. Robles heads to the bench rather than on base. Strikeout number 5 for Kane in the ball game. Jose Trujillo, he also is 2 for 2. Also picked up his 32nd stolen base after that second hit. It's 8 batters in a row as you look at Ron Frazier. 8 batters in a row that Crane has retired.
See, now that swing, you see the little smile on Trujillo's face, as well as Crane. He tried to jerk that one. See, he took the fastball the other way. The last time I've got a base hit, Trujillo went up there and said, hey, I'm going to try to jerk one. He took his home run swing at that one. That's not his style.
Still smiling a little bit. 1-1 pitch. He gets a lot of aluminum on this one. A good one on his horse. Catches it looking back over his left shoulder. And that's 9 in a row. Retired by Crane. So we head to the home half of the 5th inning. Hurricanes leading by 1. We'll be right back. Rafael Palmeiro came to the '85 College World Series with a reputation of a clutch hitter. In his first 3 at-bats, Palmeiro found men on base, each time failing to deliver. However, that all changed in his next at-bat.
He hits this one high and deep to right field. Smith to the wall, and it is gone. Palmeiro does it. Home run number 20 for Rafael.
Boy, and he's still hitting, Ron. 3rd in the National League for the Chicago Cubs. I can remember telling Keith Hernandez when I first saw Rafael Palmeiro and Will Clark, Thunder and Lightning from Mississippi State, I said, they got a guy that looks like you and can hit like you. Hits down on the high pitch. Hey! They threw her from the train.
Some of the Sugar Canes coming up from South Florida to watch their team in the College World Series. This is a fun event. Steve Pierce, the second baseman for Fresno State, will lead it off here in the 5th inning. By the way, Palmeiro's number 2 or leads the National League in doubles, doesn't he?
He's got a lot of hits, I know that.
Leads the National League. We've just been told from the truck with 19. Pierce, Bonfren, and Jeff Mott in the 5th inning. All of a sudden, we got a bunch of zeros up there on the board after Miami scored 2 in the 1st. Fresno State scored 2 in the 1st.
Talking about a lot of hits. Here's a young man that leads the country. 111 hits. Leading the Division I schools this year, but he has yet to get one in the College World Series.
Going through that ritual that he does, you'll see him stretch it over his back. And in fact, you can hear some of the home folks down there doing a chant behind him. They do this. Also have T-shirts that some people wear when they play home games at Fresno State when he goes through that. He's been a little ill. Had a sore throat. Been part of his problem here or not. There he goes. You're going to tighten the Velcro on the gloves. Look at Dominguez looking at it. He'll stretch it back over his back. Pat himself a couple of times. 1-2 delivery. Puts it in the air, and this is just out of play. Good hustle by Rob Word. Third baseman. He made a long run on that one, but it just went in that open area between the stadium and the stands. Fresno State needs badly to get Pierce's bat and something going in the ball game. Miami leads it 3-2. For the Hurricanes and 3 for the Bulldogs in this afternoon's action. One of the 3 hits, a 2-run homer by Lance Shevlin in the 1st. Curveball. Almost got himself in trouble with that one, but Pierce was out in front of it.
Pitcher standpoint, this is the kind of hitter you want to see hit the first pitch and either get a hit or get out of there. You don't want to have to wait and see him go through his routine. Mike Hargrove, former big leaguer with Cleveland, used to call it the human rain delay. Get out of the batter's box and go through all those gyrations.
Ball way out of the strike zone. It goes even at 2.
And of course, that can have an effect on throwing off a pitcher's rhythm. Fastball still up there in the upper 80s. Major, since the 1st inning, has been able to work very quickly and very effectively.
Judge Supergun is what we're using again today. We'll continue to use throughout the College World Series. Human rain delay, huh? Now let's watch the crowd from Fresno State that cheers for him, and they know the ritual, and they have a chant that goes with it. As he pats himself in the backside, that's the grunt. 2-2 delivery. He sends it foul. Well, he got a lot of it. Curve foul just at the last moment. Line drive down the right field line. estimable young man, as we mentioned early on at his first at bat. His dad is a baseball coach in junior college in California. Does that really begin to bother you after a time?
Yeah, it does if you think that they're trying to destroy your rhythm. Of course, I think Major now is aware that this is a routine. He goes through every pitch. See how deep Noriega is playing person right field.
Swung on the ground. First baseman Doug DeCock tosses it to Stephen Major, who does a nice job in the cover, and one down in the 5th inning. And for Steve Pearce, he's still looking for that first College World Series base hit. Steve Vondran, the designated hitter, struck out back in the 2nd inning. Vondran was 1 for 4 in the loss to Stanford on Saturday. Curveball just outside. Ed Bustamante, we mentioned in that opening game on Saturday, had been the designated hitter for Fresno State. He broke a hand. Vondran stepped in and has done far above average in that position as designated hitter.
Wow, the swing at that one right there. Easy to see with that swing. 8 home runs in his last 13 games. I always tell when a hitter gets a very comfortable and confident feeling, swing more aggressively at the ball.
Major's 1-1 pitch. Checks up with an inside fastball. 87 miles, according to the Juck Supergun, 87 miles an hour on that last pitch. One man down into the dirt. The count goes to 3-1. Stephen Major, and just looking down here on the chart, Jim, I think you got to go all the way back to the 1st inning, the last time that he had a 3-ball count on one of his batters. Deep drive, left field, way back, going, and he got it all off of the scoreboard, and a home run for Steve Vondran, the designated hitter. We are tied at 3.
Let's get a look at the 85th pitch from Stephen Major. Fastball right down the middle. Good extension by Vondran, and similar to Sheblett's ball, on a line. Not hit quite as hard, but right out over the left field wall against the scoreboard. And there's the reaction of Stephen Major. You know, he'd only surrendered 1 home run coming into today's game, and they've touched him up for 2. He's getting to that limit right now. He has no complete games on the year. Usually figured to get 6 or 7 out of them in 80 pitches. So he has just about reached his limit.
Strike called in the inside corner on Jeff Mott, who flied out to the shortstop in the 2nd. Steve Vondran's mom saying, "We're from San Diego and we're happy. We're pulling for Fresno State." The most innings pitched this year by Major was 8, and that was back in March. On the ground, base hit to left field for Jeff Mott.
Well, they get the freshman Greg Knowles. We mentioned that if they did not use him today and they won the ball game, he would start tomorrow. He is warming up quickly in the Miami bullpen.
And a look at Greg Knowles down in the bullpen for the Miami Hurricanes as they tried to heat up in a hurry. Rob Ward came over to try to help buy a little time and talked with his pitcher.
He had a great year, Knowles did. Tied Neil Heaton's Miami record for freshmen by winning 8 ball games. Major's 2 best outings of the year. He gave him a great game in the regional against Georgia Tech, went 7 innings in that one, and also pitched 7 against the Florida Gators and beat them.
Most runs that he gave up at any time this year is 5, and that happened 3 different times. Top of the order, Tom Goodwin. Grounder, possible double play. They get 1 over to first, and Goodwin with his superb speed is safe. That's a tough double up right there.
Take a look at Robles and Trujillo. Trujillo feeds him as well as he can. Quick release by Robles, and he can't believe it. Normally, they'll turn too easily on that ball, but not with the speed of Goodwin.
So one of the keys we talked about on Saturday in the 10-3 loss to Stanford was that the Cardinal had to keep that young man on base. This is 3 times in a row that he has been on in this ball game.
And you could look for him right here with 2 out to steal on one of the first couple pitches also.
Goodwin takes his lead. 3-3 tie. Bottom of the 5th inning. No pitch as the runner was going. He really gets ahead of steam, doesn't he, Jim Cott?
Well, let's get a look at why John Bible called timeout here. I don't know whether Zosky stepped out of the box. But as Major was set to deliver that ball, and once again he unloaded in a hurry, John Bible puts up his hand. Timeout.
You're right.
Don't really understand why Zosky did not step out of the box.
Ron Frazier probably asking the same question that we are. Unless the second base umpire was positioning himself, and that's the reason Bible called the timeout.
See right here, Major trying to vary his count. He's got Goodwin not quite sure of what kind of a lead to get.
Eddie Zosky swings, and it's a base hit as the shortstop was coming for the cover. Goodwin all the way to third base, and down at first is Zosky with his first base hit of the afternoon. Runners at the corners for the Dogs with 2 out.
Just like Trujillo did in the first inning, executing a perfect hit and run. Robles trying to decoy Goodwin right there to see if he could get him to slide into second and hold up there. Goodwin says nothing doing. And now Ron Frazier with a big decision to make. Major's obviously losing some steam on his fastball, and he's got Sheblik to face with 2 men on here in the 5th inning.
It's the 11th trip for the Miami Hurricanes to the College World Series. Only once in all those trips have they been sent home after the first 2 games. Of course, that's what both of these ball clubs face this afternoon. Since it is in the losers bracket, this is an elimination game. And to bring you up to date in the College World Series, yesterday afternoon, Florida stayed alive in the first elimination game. Cal lost, and they are out.
You see Ron Frazier right there on your screen talking to Trujillo, and I think what he was saying is, hey, Robles was not supposed to be covering on that play. You were. Trujillo kind of shaking his head. Of course, if Robles had held ground, it would have been an easy ground ball to end the 5th inning.
Good look at Knowles as he comes in from the bullpen, so let's take a break. Bottom of the 5th inning. We're tied at 3. We'll be right back. 3-3 tie, and the new pitcher for the Miami Hurricanes taking his loosen up tosses right now in this 5th inning. Greg Knowles, you see the numbers on him, a 3.62 ERA. Won 8 games, lost 2, has 1 save.
Local product from right down in the Miami area. Went to school at Cardinal Gibbons in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That's what he's done on the year. The impressive stat there, Ron, look at the base on balls. Only 15 walks. Not an overpowering pitcher. Average fastball, good curve, but he throws strikes.
Jim, here are the numbers on Major. 90 pitches even. So look at the youngster in the dugout. 4 2/3 innings. Well, the ratio actually got a lot better for him. It was not that good early. But a total of 90 pitches, 3 runs, all 3 earned, 6 hits, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. And, of course, the 2 runners on, his responsibility.
He threw strikes. It was his typical game in that about 85 to 90 pitches is all they expect out of Stephen Major. They would have liked to have seen him go into the 7th inning. But Noel's very capable of carrying them the rest of the way. Of course, right here, this is similar to a 9th inning game-winning situation. This is the biggest out in the ball game for him right here, Lance Shevlin.
You know, because of the home run by Vondran, Major cannot win the ball game. He can lose it since the 2 men on base are his responsibility, but he can't get the victory. Swung on and missed. Great location on that. You saw Dominguez move out and get the glove, and I'll tell you what, Knowles put it right on the money. Two men out, bottom of the 5th. Runners at the corners for the Bulldogs. Tie ball game. Miami 3, Fresno State 3. And big Lance Shevlin at the plate. Homered, a 2-run job in the first, his 32nd, then flied out to the shortstop in the 3rd. Base runner at first is Zosky. It's Goodwin over at 3rd. Delivery, pops it up. Center fielder John Vieira under it and has it for the 3rd out. So the Miami Hurricanes dodge a very large bullet from Fresno State. But the Dogs have tied it. We head to the 6th, 3 apiece. We showed you the West just a while ago. The Eastern Division standings. Cal State, Fullerton, and Stanford play tonight. They're both with undefeated marks. Fresno State and Miami both 0-1. That's the reason this is the elimination game. The loser of the game tonight, which you can see immediately following SportsCenter, with Sam Rosen and Jim Cott. We'll come back here to Omaha, Nebraska. I'm not sure that was part of the Maniac's act.
Maniac was up on the ladder there. The outfielders for Miami could have used that the last couple innings with those balls that Vondran and Shevlin hit out there.
Well, let's see if that thing started teetering. And, well, I guess it was. He came down on his feet. That's a low percentage part of the act, I'd have to think. Mike Fiore, the number 3 hitter, looking for his first base hit today. Struck out in the 1st, grounded out 2nd to 1st in the 3rd. 3-3. Ball game has moved right along. Top of the 6th inning. Both clubs came out blazing, scoring a couple of runs each in the 1st. Pops it up. Left side of the infield. Burton is calling for it. And the big 3rd baseman makes the catch for the out.
Boy, Crane has really done a good job with the 3 and 4 hitters. The momentum has kind of swung over to his side. Rich Crane struggled early, but in the last 2 innings has only thrown 15 pitches. 13 pitches actually in the last 2 innings, and now it gets Fiore out here to lead off the 6th.
Frank Dominguez, the catcher, he is hitless today also, has been a strikeout victim twice. Called out at strikes in the 1st and struck out swinging in the 3rd. Now, the guys that have done the damage for Miami have been Robles and Trujillo in the 1 and 2 spots. Vespi, the DH, got a base hit. And also Ray Noriega with the triple. But those are the only folks. Total of 6 for the Miami Hurricanes. Fresno State has equaled that total also with 6. That's how close this one is. Tied in score and also in the number of base hits.
Dominguez is either guessing or not picking up the ball well at all. Here you have a right-hand hitter against a left-hand pitcher. And he's really having some defensive swings.
Delivery down low. Crane tried to entice him just a bit, and the count goes out to 3-1. Count will go full. 1 down. Top of the 6th inning.
Be interesting to see whether Crane decides to come inside. You know, he has consistently gone to the outside part of the plate with that fastball. You can see by that swing right there, Dominguez is trying to hit it the other way. Of course, the danger in trying to come inside now, he gets the barrel of that bat out and gets it airborne. It'll go out of here in a hurry.
3-2 delivery to Dominguez. Fouls it back off to the right. Crane has really settled down, Jim, since that second inning. Bob Bennett looks on. He's got to be happy with the way his ball club, particularly with the long balls today, but he knows that they're going to have a lot more if they're going to beat this Ron Frazier team here today and avoid elimination. 3-2 pitch again in the air, right center field, going to have to hurry, and good one with an unbelievably long run from center field, makes the catch for the second out. That's what speed will do for you.
Exactly right. The speed of Tom Goodwin right there. He ran a long way for that ball because he was playing Dominguez over toward left center field. And that ball was hit into right center.
2 out at the top of the 6th inning. Strike is called, and Will Vespi, he's 1 for 2 today. Singled in the first, moved out to second on a wild pitch, and then grounded out second to first in the third. Strike 2. Same thing happened to Vespi last time, you remember? He looked.
Well, after he got the base hit on the fastball out over the plate to drive in a run in the first inning, Crane has gone to the breaking ball on it.
0-2 count, 2 men out, 6th inning. Crane has really settled down. He has retired 11 batters in a row. Fouled off to the left. Ron Franklin along with Jim Cott. Great to have you along here on ESPN on this day number 4 at the College World Series. In the top of the 6th inning, it's Miami 3 and Fresno State 3. Immediately following this game, we'll go to Sports Center with Kerry Ross.
Now you want to see where this pitch is going to be? Tap the inside thighs coming inside. You can look right along with the catcher and get an idea of how a pitcher's trying to work a hitter.
College baseball fans, if you can't make it to Omaha for the 1988 College World Series, here's your chance to obtain the official College World Series souvenir program. It's all here. The teams, the records, and special features sure to interest every baseball fan. Send your check or money order for $6 to College World Series program, P.O. Box 1988A, Lexington, Kentucky 40593-1988. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
The 6 tied at 3. You see we have a relief cameraman.
T-Bone needs a little help out there. Tony Marshall.
Tony Marshall getting relief from the maniac.
He's got to work a double dip every night. He can take an inning off.
6th inning, Brandon Mitchell, Mike Burton, and Steve Hosey. As Mitchell looks at a strike call. Brandon popped out to the catcher in the first and then grounded out shortstop the first. His other time pops it up left side. Rob Ward heading toward the canvas, and he lost it in the sun. Jim, I think he was bothered by the tarp right there in front of him and then looked up into the sun, and it was over.
Well, that was an effect of the wind here. You see, the first thing you do, find out where the railing is, which he does. Now watch this ball blow back over his left shoulder. See, the wind just carried it that way. He got to the railing all right. It did not allow for the wind in carrying the ball down toward the left field corner.
You remember this as well as anybody because it happens to pitchers. After you see a play like that the person at the plate winds up getting a base hit. Fly ball, straightaway center. Guerra hurrying, and he makes the catch. Guerra had to run a long way. Looking into that bright sky, and he gets it for out number 1 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mike Burton, the third baseman, walked in the first, flied out to left in the 4th. Down low for a ball.
Here's one of the hitters we talked about. If he gets a fastball on the inside part of the plate, he can turn on it. They try to keep it away from him.
Swung out and missed, and the count goes even at 1. Fresno State was the visiting team on Saturday, home team today. Tired in their home uniforms with the red shoes. Lifts a long line drive. You can watch this one off the bottom of the fence. Thought it was out, going to second base, and he'll stand up with a double. Mike Burton really muscled that one, and he's going to wind up with a stand-up double. Look for a moment, Jim, as that he had gotten it all.
See where Dominguez wanted that ball? Sitting way outside. No, he gets it on the inside third. This big guy likes it right in there. Watch how quickly the barrel of that bat gets out. In fact, he hit it so hard it didn't get a chance to get up and let the wind carry it over the wall. And Fiore plays it off there, and it's an easy double for Burton.
So a one-out double, and Steve Hosey. High fly, left center field. Running back is Vieira right in front of the warning track. He'll make the catch. And coming to third is Burton. They got a shot? No. Relay man got it in about the time that Burton is sliding into third. So 2 down, and the Dogs with a runner sitting just a few feet away.
That's Brad Kelly. We mentioned earlier in the telecast. He pitched for Fresno State coach Bob Bennett. He's saying, hey, work from the stretch. Work from the stretch. Don't let Burton get a big lead off third base. We've talked about what a big player Steve Pearce has been for Fresno State. Ron, he has yet to get a hit.
Going to go back for the appeal at second base. Von Graham says safe.
And that's what Brad Kelly was telling Knowles. Go to your stretch, step off, and let's make the appeal to see if he left too early.
Brad Kelly really has done a superb job at the University of Miami. We talked about that during the Atlantic Regional.
Here's the time you're always leery of guys like this that are such clutch players and have yet to get a base hit. And this is when they come through.
Leading hit man in the nation with 111. Swings and misses. 2 men out, bottom of the 6th, tied at 3. And Fresno State with the go-ahead run right down at third base. That's Mike Burton. Knowles checks third, swung on and missed. Pearce is behind 0-2. A little disgusted, doesn't he, Jimmy? A little frustrated with himself.
Well, we mentioned the fact that he has not been at 100% health-wise. Throat infection of some sort.
0-2 pitch. Barely got a piece of that one to stay alive. The last time he was on during the regular season, he hit a home run. Both feet came off the ground. He really jacked one. Love to have that kind of situation right now as you see some of the crowd coming on late here on Monday, looking for the pitch inside. Swung on, fouls it off again. Pretty young lady here, part of the first game crowd at Rosenblatt Stadium. It's been record after record as far as attendance for this year's tournament. After the first 2 days, up already 22% yesterday. Another record attendance at 16,400. 0-2 delivery, swung on and missed way out of the strike zone, and he got him. And Fresno State strands Burton down at third base. So we head to the 7th as we look at the strikeout one more time. DeCock, Noriega, and Word due up. We're still tied, 3 apiece. We'll be right back.
Boy, what a turnaround by Rich Crane. The first 3 innings, 68 pitches. Now he has come back in the last 3 with just, or rather 62 pitches. The last 3 just 28. He's retired 12 in a row. All those hits, the 6 hits, all came in the first couple of innings, as well as the runs. No walks and 6 strikeouts.
You're right. The last base hit he gave up was in the 3rd inning.
And that right now is a big strikeout for Crane. The Hurricanes had Trujillo at third with 1 out. He struck out Dominguez. That's the last base runner they've had.
Doug DeCock looks at a pitch inside. Goes even at 1 apiece. Should see DeCock, Ray Noriega, and Rob Ward in the Miami half of the 7th inning. Pops it up left side, back with the mask off, and it's going to come back into the stands as Brandon Mitchell gave chase.
That most of the time, Ron, you'd think against left-hand pitching, your right-handed bats would be more effective, but the Hurricanes only 2 out of 12 from the right side of the plate, both those by Trujillo. If DeCock would happen to get on right here, you'll see Ron Frazier, I think, pinch run for him, try to manufacture a run.
1-2 pitch on the way up high. Boy, he had to hold up. He wanted that one. It'll go even. That was a nice shot from outside the stadium, part of the new parking lot. See a lot of people. There'll be a lot more here tonight as people had to go to work today. Off the handle into center field. A good one is right there. Just a few steps to his left, and he's got it for the first out of the 7th.
I think one of the reasons Crane has been so effective, first time they've ever faced him, and I'm sure the scouting report said, hey, the guy is a curveball pitcher. They're waiting for that breaking ball, and look how that fastball gets in on Doug DeCock. It's not a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. And those shadows right there, of course, at this time of the day do not hurt the pitcher either.
Ray Noriega, the right fielder, and the triple, as we mentioned. You know, Crane has gotten only 3 ground balls, 3 ground ball outs in the ballgame. Everything else has been in the air. One away, top of the 7th. Miami 3, Fresno State 3.
See, earlier he was throwing at about 85, 86, didn't have much movement. Now he's down there in his comfort zone. Throw as hard as you want, but you have no movement. Hitters will catch up with you.
Ray Noriega with an 0-2 count. Whoa. You could see that Brandon Mitchell held up for just a second, as if to say to John Bible, I'll just let you look at it a little longer because I really thought it was a strike. And Mr. Bible said no, outside for ball 1. Same location, just a little bit farther outside. So we're even at 2-2. DeCock flied out to center field. Just misses, and after being in front 0-2, now count goes full.
If you're Ray Noriega, and you know Crane consistently sticks the ball on the outside part of the plate, make up your mind right now, I'm going to go the other way with the ball.
And Izowski, the shortstop, pitch down low and away, and he lost him. And it breaks his string. He had retired 13 batters in a row. So this is the first base runner since that single by Jose Trujillo to lead off the 3rd inning.
And the Hurricanes manufacture runs through base on balls and stolen bases. With 1 out here, you could look for either a hit and run or attempted steal by Noriega. He has 17 on the year. Bob Bennett's going to talk it over.
Jim, it's also the first walk issued by Rich Crane today. 15 victories for Crane, which was good enough to tie him for 3rd in the nation with that total.
When he had a teammate that also won 15, John Sayles.
Little action down in the Fresno State bullpen.
That's Steve Buckholz. He saw some action in the first game Fresno State played. Get in a game-saving situation, they would probably go to freshman Eric Schulstrom.
So Noriega down at first base with a 1-out walk, top of the 7th inning, and Rob Ward doing a sac fly for an RBI back in the 2nd inning and flied out to left in the 4th. Stephen Major, if you joined us late, he was the starting pitcher for the Miami Hurricanes today. With 4 2/3 innings, threw a total of 90 pitches. See the ice packed on his shoulder.
It's that snap throw that so many of the left-handers are using these days. Off the rubber with that back foot and throw it almost in one motion.
Noriega, good speed, particularly for a pretty good-sized guy. Way up, and I guess it was a pitch out.
It was a pitch out, and he had Noriega going back toward first base. Sure did. Which on a pitch out, as a pitcher, you don't want to give the runner any kind of a good move. You want him to run. Pitch out and give your catcher a chance to throw him out.
Word with a 1-0 count. Pops it up. Right side into short right field. Hosey's going to have a long run, and he held up. You could see a little bit of white there after he made the catch for the second out, but he held on.
Boy, Steve Hosey has really come back with a strong game today after all the problems he had with the sun. That is not an easy catch.
No, sir.
You see him battling that ball all the way. Full speed. And then having to try to pick that ball out of the sun. Just cradles it into that glove. Looks like a routine play, but it wasn't.
Not into this very high Omaha sky. 2 men out, top of the 7th, still tied at 3. John Vieira looking for his first hit. Pitch out, nothing doing.
Now that you can bet after the pitch out, Crane would not want to fall behind 2-0. Now is when Juan Frazier says, okay, let's give it a crack right here. You got the left-hand hitter in the batter's box. Much more difficult for the catcher to throw the ball to second base.
Still looking for his first base hit today. Grounded out unassisted to first base in the 2nd and flied out to right field in the 5th. Runner fakes his move to 2nd. Strike call. DeCock opened up the inning flying to center field. And Noriega walked, and then Word popping out to short right field. The catch you saw just a moment ago. And Bob Bennett talking with one of his assistant coaches there, trying to figure out what is going to be the combination it's going to take to keep from having to head back to the San Joaquin Valley. This is an elimination game. Cal was eliminated yesterday. Loser of this one heads home. 1-1 pitch. We'll go back to first one more time. Center coming up next with Kerry Ross, and we'll come back here to Rosenblatt Stadium. Jim Cock will be working with Sam Rosen tonight, and the winners bracket game, Cal State Fullerton and the Cardinal of Stanford University. Inside, really tied him up on that good location, but it just missed.
Well, Crane is doing a good job by varying his count. Comes to the belt, holds it for a couple seconds, unloads it a little quicker, and Noriega is not able to get a good enough jump. He's on his own. Frazier's saying, why don't you take a shot at it? But Noriega does not feel comfortable with the jump he can get off Crane.
Good look at the lead by Noriega. He's going down into the dirt, and Mitchell lost the handle on it. No throw. So the Hurricanes with 2 men out wind up with Noriega down at second base and John Vieira with a 3-1 count.
Well, Mitchell, being eager to get rid of the ball, does not get a handle on it. And Noriega steals it easily. That's the pressure that a good base stealer will put on a catcher who wants to get rid of it so quickly, oftentimes does not have control of the ball.
Stolen base number 18. Swung on and missed. And the count goes full at 3-2. Here, obviously Miami University is here, and he does does the rooting for them during the regular season, but he's hired by the NCAA for the College World Series. So he represents all. Swung on, pops it up. The left center field. Jeff Mott comes over, and he cradles it for the third out. So we head to the home half of the 7th inning, and we're still tied. Miami 3 and Fresno State 3. Vondran, Mott, and Goodwin. Let's take a break. In the ball game so far, you see both of them came out of the gate sprinting. 2 runs for Miami, 2 for Fresno. Trujillo 2 for 3 on the day, scored a run for Fresno State. Shevlett with a home run. It was just one of the most impressive things that you have seen as far as a line drive, and in Vondran hit one.
Both teams, Ron, have scored and played offensively the way that they're known for. Fresno State with a home run, Miami with speed.
Steve Vondran, who hit his 16th home run the last time up, leads it off in the home half of the 7th inning. He'll be followed by Mott, and then back to the top of the order, Tom Goodwin. Fouls it off to the right side. First baseman giving chase on that one, but no way that DeCock could get to it. DeCock, as we mentioned off the top of the show, is from Iowa, which is just to the north of here. In fact, he gave you a shot yesterday. You could see out across the Missouri River and over toward Council Bluffs. Iowa just not too far away. 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed for the first out of this 7th inning.
So we talked about the great control of freshman Greg Knowles. I mean, this is a little ridiculous. 17 pitches, and he's thrown 15 strikes.
Here's what we were talking about just across there. You can't see it, but the river is down below, and that is the state of Iowa. Jeff Mott, the number 9 hitter, the left fielder. He singled his last time up. 1 for 2 in the afternoon. Was 1 for 3 and scored a run in the opener against Stanford on Saturday. Greg Knowles working deliberately but yet very quickly. 1-1 pitch, strike called.
I've talked about the short arm motion of Rich Crane, and we've used the super jugs gun today to talk about miles per hour, but motion and the way you hide the ball is impressive. Now watch Knowles. Kind of leans that front shoulder toward the first baseline, gets over the top.
Strike 3. So Mr. Knowles has just recorded his 3rd strikeout since coming into the ball game, and he sent down Vondran striking out swinging, and now this one on Mott. That'll bring up center fielder Tom Goodwin. He has a couple of base hits today, which brings him now to 3 for 8 for the College World Series. Scored a run, has 1 stolen base. Fouls it off to the left side.
The Hurricanes and all teams defense Tom Goodwin, and this is what he tries to do. You see him try to slap that ball down toward the third baseman because they play him so shallow.
Strike called in the outside corner. You can see him leaning, and the count goes to 1-2. Two men down, bottom of the 7th, tied at 3. Slow grounder, gonna have to hurry. Knowles makes the throw, and he got it. Boy, as it turns out, a very close play. So down in order, Fresno State in the bottom of the 7th, and we head to the 8th. Look at the organist here at Rosenblatt Stadium. We'll be right back.
You talk about world-class speed, Ron. Bo Jackson will get down to first base from the right side in 3-7. That's a routine ground ball to the pitcher. Look at Tom Goodwin. This is a bang-bang play. Just got him.
When I said he just got him, you could see with the replay there. I mean, it wasn't half a count. Led the NCAA during the regular season in stolen bases with 61, and in fact picked up another one here earlier today. 8th inning, and you saw the score just a moment ago, and somebody has got to get off square one. Tied at 3. Chopper back to the pitcher. Crane's going to have to hurry, and he got it. Talk about speed. Same situation for George Robles. And I bet if we look at the replay on that, that was only a half snap count, and he out.
That was only a half count, and actually, if that ball had hit George Robles, we may have had a little argument. He runs well inside the baseline there, trying to shield Crane from throwing the ball to first baseman Shevlin. Good play by Crane.
Brings up Trujillo, who has a couple of base hits in this ball game, 1 in the first, 1 in the third. He also got his 32nd stolen base back in the 3rd inning. Squares around a bunt, strike call. On the College World Series, Trujillo is 3 of 7, has scored 2 runs, and now has 2 stolen bases. Pitch, fouls it off, and he's working well behind now at 0-2.
And you got to think Rich Crane is saying, this is my 9th inning. The Hurricanes have the leadoff man Robles to start the inning. This is the meat of their order. If he can get through the 8th inning, you get down there in 6, 7, 8, and 9. The Hurricanes have not been very productive.
Oh-2 pitch just outside. Just looking back at the book right here, the last time that anybody 7, 8, or 9 did anything was Noriega with the triple, and that's back in the 2nd inning. High chopper, shortstop Zosky, one hopper, and a great play by Lance Shevlin. They got him. Give an assist to the big fella Shevlin over at first base, because Zosky, who has a gun, made him take it on the short hop.
Wow, what a play by Shevlin right here. Zosky with great range. You're looking at a young shortstop that may be one of the top draft picks in the country next year. Shevlin says, yeah, I can pick it. You see him kind of turn his head away at the last minute, but he gets the job done. 2 good defensive plays for the Bulldogs.
2 down at the top of the 8th. Fiore steps in, the All-American, and he looks at a strike called on the outside corner. The numbers on him in the College World Series, 2 of 7. He scored once, and he has 1 RBI. And we talked about the same situation earlier on, not on the air, but just between the two of us. If there's a guy you look to beat you late in the innings in a tight ball game, this one right here becomes a candidate real quickly, doesn't he?
Yeah, but you see Crane keeping the ball on the outside part of the plate. Mike turned around and looked at John Bible as if to say, wasn't that a little outside? But Bible has been very consistent, giving the outside pitch, the outside corner to the pitcher. Doubt if he'll get anything inside to hit at.
15-game winner, Rich Crane. 0-2 pitch, way outside. So 2 out, top of the 8th inning. Miami 3 and Fresno State 3. Both clubs tallied a couple in the 1st inning. Miami scored their 3rd in the 2nd. And Advanfrin with the home run at the bottom of the 5th. And that's how we stand. Swung on and missed, and he got it. So we'll take another look at it. Strike 3 on Mike Fiore. We head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Miami 3, Fresno State 3. Let's take a break. ESPN's live presentation of the 1988 College World Series is being brought to you by AT&T, the right choice. By Gold Star, the brightest star in electronics. By Wilson Sporting Goods Company, where there's a Will, there's a Wilson. And by Casio Plus and Databank watches. Casio, where miracles never cease. Zosky, who was 2 for 8 so far in the College World Series, and he has just lined 1 to left. So Jim Cott, The table is set as far as Fresno State is concerned.
Normally a tie ball game, bottom of the 8th inning, you need 1 run to win. You'd say, hey, let's bunt them over. Put the winning run in scoring position. Don't think they'll do it with Lance Shevlin.
Shevlin homered his 32nd back in the first. It was a 2-run shot. Since then, he flied out to the shortstop and also flied out to center field. Checks the runner, squares around to bunt, lays down. It's going to go foul. Thought for a moment there that he had gotten himself a good one. Shevlin is 2 of 7, home run, 2 RBIs.
But you know how important it is and how badly they want to play for 1 run. That's Joe Arnold, the Florida Gator coach, in your screen right there. But I'll bet you Shevlin has not been called on to bunt very many times in his collegiate career, if ever.
What is that sign, he may have said.
And oftentimes hitters like Shevlin are not good bunters because of that reason. They don't get called on to do it very often.
Miami 3, Fresno State 3, bottom of the 8th. Zosky, the shortstop, down at first base. Pitch down into the dirt, and the count goes even at 1.
Bob Bennett has said he very seldom will hit and run or bunt. He kind of kick-starts this lineup and just sits back and watch all the home run power they have.
Good look at Shevlin, who was number 2 in the nation in home runs this year. Swung on and lifts it to right field. On the run is Noriega, and it bounces in for the base hit. Zosky late getting to second because Jimmy had to hold up. He couldn't tell if Noriega was going to get over and make the catch or not. Fresno State runners at first and second with nobody out.
Well, and Shevlin did the next best thing. He didn't bunt him over, but he did hit the ball to right field. Put the Bulldogs in excellent position right here. Now, be interesting to see with Brandon Mitchell, the cleanup hitter. By the way, sure Bob Bennett's strategy in this situation will be the sacrifice bunt. Ron Frazier's going to flash some signs out to his infielders as to how they're going to defense it.
Well, we did get the note here that Shevlin, we got the information, had 1 sacrifice on the season. And the same is true for Brandon Mitchell. 1 sacrifice for him this year. And at the corners, nobody out, 2 men on, bottom of the 8th inning. We're tied at 3.
Where Doug DeCock is playing.
Squares around to bunt. Strike is called. Gets nothing.
It's got good dental insurance when you come down that fast. Bunt situation. It's with the power of Mitchell.
I start to say the way Mitchell, you wouldn't even see it if he swung away, would you? I mean, being that close. Down low, count goes even.
And if you're Mitchell in this situation with DeCock charging down like that, obviously you want to try to bunt the ball toward Rob Word, the 3rd baseman.
Mitchell still looking for his first base hit in the College World Series. 0 for 6. Squares around to bunt. John Bible says strike 2 call. So steps out, takes a look down at the 3rd base coach.
Now they'll go back to double play depth, the Miami defense.
You see Doug DeCock. And do you want me in, or do you want me covering the man on first base? Pitch down into the dirt. That's a nice job of Dominguez. Boy, he shows a lot of agility back there. Both of these catchers, Brandon Mitchell and Dominguez, both really outstanding. You see Dominguez fussing a little bit at Knowles there. Say, not now if you're going to throw something down into the dirt, a 58-footer. 2-2 the count, nobody out, runners at first and second. He went fishing for it, and he missed it a mile. Strikeout number 1, and what a huge out if you were a fan of the Miami Hurricanes.
Well, your cleanup hitter, number 5 hitter, used to trying to drive the ball. They're not very adept at bunting or hitting the other way. A very defensive swing right there by Brandon Mitchell off the breaking ball from Greg Knowles.
Mike Burton, the 3rd baseman. As Bob Bennett looks on, never really changed his expression, does he, as he sits over there in the corner of that dugout. Busy are the folks down at the bullpen. Buckner to the left. Pete Joseph is the left-hander. Situation, one man out, bottom of the 8th inning. 3-3 tie in an elimination game. And the count right now goes to 1-1. Down at second base is Eddie Zosky. He led off the inning with a single. Then followed by a single by Lance Shevlin. He's over at first. And they just got Brandon Mitchell to strike out. Whoever loses, gonna head home. Swung on, line drive, well hit to right field. Noriega is back, glasses are down, makes the catch. Zosky will advance. Shevlin will hold up at first base. So with 2 men out, Zosky sitting over at third base for Fresno State.
See Brad Kelly making a very slow walk out to the mound right now to talk to Greg Knowles. Could be talking about a number of things. Men on first and third. One thing you want to make sure, you see him talking, he'll talk to the infielders. You doubt very seriously whether Bob Bennett would even think about sending Lance Shevlin down towards second base because he's not a base stealer. But one thing you want to do as an infielder, if there's any movement by the runner on first right now, hold your ground. Stealing second base is not important. You wouldn't want to get caught going over to cover a base and have a routine ground ball go through the infield. I'm sure they're talking about the way that they're going to pitch to Steve Hosey and also make sure their defense stays in place.
Well, there's the score. The reason for the discussion is John Bible has gone out to the mound. 3-3 tie, and a look at Hosey, who's 1 for 7 in the College World Series. Talking to the scrappy little second baseman Steve Pearce there. The situation is an elimination game tied at 3, bottom of the 8th inning with 2 out. Runners at first and third for the Bulldogs of Fresno State. And Bob Bennett pacing and heading back to his cooler over there in that far end of the dugout. Pitch inside on the ground, just foul, left of third. Loser goes home. The winner stays on in the loser's bracket. Ron Frazier looking over his lineup, checking his options.
Keep it down now, Greg. Keep it down.
Hosey with 1 hit. I really think he is atoned today, defensively and offensively, for that bad opening game. Line drive, left field, on the run is Fiore, over the shoulder, and he makes the catch. Miami gets out of it as Fresno State strands a couple of runners, and we head to the ninth with our score still tied. Miami 3 and Fresno State 3. This is a quick meeting that went on right in front of the Miami dugout after that catch for the third out was made by Fiore.
Little dugout chatter. Baseball comes down to the little things so often. You remember back in the 3rd inning when the Hurricanes had a man on third and 1 out, and they couldn't get him home. Strikeout of Dominguez. And now Fresno State gets 2 men on with nobody out. Cannot execute the sacrifice bunt. And Miami gets out of Dodge.
Catcher Frank Dominguez. And time is running short. If somebody comes up with a run in a hurry here as we go to the top of the 9th inning. Miami 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors. And for Fresno State, 3 runs on 9 hits and no errors. Crane has gone the distance for the Bulldogs. Ball 2 down low. Dominguez struck out in the first, struck out in the third, flied out to center field in the 6th. To say he's due is an understatement. 1 for 6 in the College World Series with 1 RBI. Swung on and missed. He wanted a second RBI right there, Jim.
Still not giving Dominguez anything on the inside part of the plate to swing at. He has pitched him very well in all of his at-bats.
2-1 pitch on the way. Just a little bit low, and the count goes 3-1. Well, that's the last thing in the world you want to see to lead off the 9th inning in a tie ball game. That is a free pass, right?
Don't want to walk him, and yet he's being very careful. He doesn't want to give him a pitch inside that he can drive.
3-1 delivery. Swung on. Line to right field. Way back. And Posey made the catch. Posey made the catch right up against the wall. And you talk about atoning for what was a really tough ball game for him on Saturday afternoon in the Sunfield. Jim, that's as tough as you're going to have.
Well, the great speed of the Fresno State outfielders. Goodwin made a fine running catch earlier, but this play right here, not only fighting the sun, not only having to run a long way because he was swung over to right center field, but the great concentration with the wall right there.
Bouncer just fouled down the first base side. Will Vespi, the designated hitter.
Boy, that's a game-saving catch right there by Steve Hosey.
If he bangs into the wall and drops that one, or if it gets over his head and goes off the wall, at least a couple for Dominguez, who runs pretty well for a catcher. Then you see the pinch runner, and it's race time. Vespi, the numbers on him during the College World Series so far, 2 for 7, and has 1 RBI. Doug DeCock, the first baseman, is due up following Vespi. Inside corner strike at the knees. Top of the 9th inning. Miami 3, Fresno State 3. Jammed him on that one. Slow chopper. Zosky gets his man. Tell you what, he almost threw him too good a pitch. That ball, Zosky really had to get ahead of steam and field in a hurry.
Well, we mentioned Zosky will probably be one of the top draft picks next year. You see him with the sure hands play that short hop off balance throw. And they get Vespi by a half a step.
First baseman Doug DeCock, hitless today, swings and misses. Doug has not been very disciplined at the plate today.
He's got one thought in mind right now. He wants to get something up in the air toward left field.
Strike call. Working very quickly as Crane misses on the outside corner. Count goes to 1-2. Fresno Partisans trying to whoop it up on John Bible, but it was well outside. 2 men out, top of the 9th, tied at 3. Count is 1-2 on first baseman Doug DeCock, who lives in the neighboring state of Iowa. Just misses on the outside corner.
I wouldn't take that one again if I were Doug DeCock.
Oh my. Boy, this has been a good one. Both teams scored 2 runs in the first inning. And we're tied at 3 in the 9th. Line drive right field. Can Hosey get there? Yes, he does. For the 3rd out of the inning, and we head to the bottom half of the 9th. Miami 3, Fresno State 3. We'll be right back. There are the totals: 3-6-0, 3-9-0. And something's got to give because somebody's got to head home. Elimination game number 2. Cal was the first team eliminated yesterday. The loser of this one will be out. Some of the crowd that is gathering, some of these folks coming from work late this afternoon. Chant goes on.
They're getting a little bonus. Some of them come in a little late to catch the second game. Getting here at the tail end of the first game, they're seeing a good one.
Go Dogs, say the Cards. The Bulldogs of Fresno State. And this fellow right here is not only due, he's overdue. Steve Pearce, 0 for 3 today, was hitless in that opening game on Saturday. Swung on and fouled back.
And there you're getting a look at the new Miami first baseman, Henry Hernandez, going in for a little defense here with a tie game bottom of the 9th. He replaces Doug DeCock.
Athletic director University of Florida, former defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. In attendance, we saw him yesterday take a sigh of relief as his ball club avoided elimination in that first elimination game. Florida's alive. They'll play the winner of this game here tomorrow. Pitch on the way to first. Line drive into center field. Vieira takes a couple of steps back, then pulls up, and he makes the catch. And hard to believe that Purse still is hitless in this College World Series. Steve Vondran, 2 for 7 during the College World Series, has a home run. Number 16 for him on the year, and it came back in the 5th inning. In fact, he is the guy responsible for this tie score at 3-3.
And this is the reason Fresno State has a definite advantage in a tie ball game like this where one run's going to win it. A lot more home run threats than the Hurricanes.
Knowles to the plate. Strike called. That one right down the middle. And Vondran, I'm sure, is saying, "Woo, I wish I had the swing in the first pitch on that second pitch." One man out, bottom of the 9th. Outside corner, strike called. And Vondran takes the long walk, the designated hitter, back to the bench, and there are 2 down in the bottom of the 9th inning. Jeff Mott. Strikeout number 5, by the way, for Knowles. Jeff Mott, the left fielder, swings on the first pitch, pops it up to the left side. Shortstop George Robles is there, and we've got extra innings. So through 9, our score, Miami 3 and Fresno State 3. We're going to take a break right now, and we will be right back in just a moment. If you just joined us, welcome to Omaha, Nebraska, the College World Series, and we've got extra innings in this second elimination game. Miami 3 and Fresno State 3. And Jimmy, this is pretty hard tie to break because in extra inning games this year, the Miami Hurricanes are 4-1. The Fresno State Bulldogs are also 4-1.
What a great job, Rich Crane. You know, the Hurricanes have not had a hit since the top of the 3rd inning. With 1 out in the 3rd, the single by Jose Trujillo.
Noriega, who tripled back in the 2nd, swings and misses on that first pitch. Noriega, word is scheduled second, the third baseman on the ground of the shortstop. Zosky throws off balance, and he got it. Nice play. Falling away to his right and still able to whip that thing almost underhand.
I'll tell you, Eddie Zosky's made a couple of great plays under pressure here late in the ball game. All of his momentum going over toward the foul line. Look at the accuracy of that throw. I wonder his hero is Ozzie Smith. Nice play.
Rob Word, the third baseman for the Miami Hurricanes, takes the ball low. Don't forget, Sports Center coming up immediately following this with Kerry Ross, and then we'll come back to Rosenblatt Stadium for the nightcap in the winners bracket. Cal State, Fullerton, and Stanford. Fouled off to the right side. Giving chase is Shevlet. Also Steve Hosey, but they couldn't come close on that one. Right next to the fence. And his ball club up on the edge of the top step. John Vieira, the center fielder, is due up next.
I would think some of these right-hand hitters that have not had a lot of success with Crane might try to drop down a bunt here.
Down low for a ball. Count goes to 2-1. I think Mike Burton kind of agreed with you there. He was creeping in at third base that time. 2-1 pitch on the way outside, and he goes 3-1. Cashel and his starting pitcher for tonight. Sitting watching this one.
Mark Beck. pitching prospects in the country. He'll be going for the Cal State Fullerton Titans in the second game. He can bring it.
Messina goes for Stanford in the game, doesn't he? Swung on. Hit well to center field. Goodwin backtracks and makes the catch for the second out. So they're 2 down, top half of the 10th inning. John Vieira, the center fielder, grounded out to the first baseman back in the second, and then flied out in the 5th and in the 7th inning. And look at the entire ball game, and Miami's only stranded 3 base runners. Should Vieira get on, we go back to the speedy top of the order. Robles. Gray with the 1-0 pitch inside. Gray with the 2-0 delivery. Strike call.
He's up to 143 pitches, but he has thrown with very little effort. Not any trouble at all since the 3rd inning.
2-1 delivery. Drive to right field. On the run is Hosey. Glasses are down, but Goodwin says, "I'll take it," and he does for out number 3. So Miami is down 1-2-3 in the top of the 10th inning. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Zosky singled his last time in the 8th inning, also singled in the 5th. Line drive, left center field. Vieira on the run, right at the edge of the warning track, and he makes the catch for the second out of the bottom of the 10th. That one had possibilities, but Knowles made sure that he didn't get around just enough on it. Shevlin, 2-run homer in the 1st inning. Round tripper number 32 for him. Big guy waits for the first pitch, looks at a strike. Delivery outside corner, beautiful pitch, strike 2 called.
I'll tell you, the pitching down the stretch by both Crane and Knowles has been phenomenal. In 5 innings of work, Knowles has thrown less than 10 balls. He's thrown over 50 pitches.
0-2 delivery, swung on, line drive, left center field. Vieira again at the edge of the warning track, and he's got it for the 3rd out. So for Fresno State, in the bottom of the 10th, all 3 outs recorded by center fielder John Vieira. Let's take a break. We're still tied. Well, if you just joined us, here's the line score on the ball game. Jim, they both got a couple in the 1st inning, and then it's been kind of stingy since then.
Home run power of Fresno State and the speed of Miami. Miami squandered an opportunity in the 3rd, about the only one they've had. Crane has held them hitless for the last 8 innings. And Fresno State had a shot in the bottom of the 8th, and they couldn't execute.
Major led off for the Miami Hurricanes. She went 4 2/3 through 90 pitches, gave up 3 runs and 6 hits. Knowles has come on and done a spectacular job. Top of the 11th inning, Robles, Trujillo, and Mike Fiore due for the Hurricanes. Just outside, ball 2.
Well, Fresno State had their opportunity with their leadoff hitter, Tom Goodwin. Now Miami in the top of the 11th has the same opportunity, Robles.
2-0 delivery, strike called in the inside corner. base. Really chokes up on that bat. 2-1 delivery. Right back off the pitcher, Crane. Bounce to the third baseman, Burton. Can he get him? He did.
Well, sometimes you sacrifice your body and you get a good break. Look what Crane does right here. Hit right back at him. He has no opportunity to get out of the way. A pad save. And over to third base, Burton alertly fields that ball and throws Robles out by a half a step.
Jim, of the difference.
Good break for the Bulldogs. Tough one for the Hurricane. He's got a smile on his face. That didn't hurt. Well worth the out.
Bob Bennett doing the smart thing, going out to check on his pitcher and make sure he's okay. It looked like it came off his right shoulder. The lucky break for Fresno there is the fact that Burton was cheating in just a little bit, possibly looking for the bunt, and it put him in the perfect position. One man down, Jose Trujillo, the second baseman for the Miami Hurricanes.
John Sayles, we didn't think we'd see him today.
Strike called.
Shows you how your strategy can change as a coach. Bob Bennett had said, I'm going to hold off Sayles and hope that we get to the finals of the division.
Sayles in a losing effort with 4 1/3 on Saturday against Stanford. 1-1 the count. 1 out. 11th inning. Fly ball straight away center. Good one right there to make the catch. 2 down.
Well, Shevlin had his opportunity in the bottom half of the 9th inning and sent Vieira to deep left center field. And now Mike Fiore, who has had a bad day at the plate, really has not had many aggressive swings at all. And credit Crane for that. He has kept the ball on the outside part of the plate consistently.
Again, I mentioned this is the guy. How many times you just don't want to have to face him with the game on the line. 0 for 4 today, though. 2 men out. Top of the 11th inning. Tied at 3. Line drive ripped down the third baseline. He'll get 2 on this for sure as Mott picks it up. Hits the cutoff man, and a 2-out double by Mike Fiore in the top of the 11th inning.
It's kind of like having a no-hitter broken up with 2 out in the 9th. If Fiore would have been retired, Rich Crane would have had 9 hitless innings. The first pitch he's really gotten to the inside part of the plate where Mike Fiore could get the barrel of the bat out on it. Now you would think Bob Bennett's going to take a walk out right here. You'd think they might, even though Dominguez is 0 for 4. Might think about walking him to get to the left-hand hitting Will Vespi. Vespi does have an RBI single, came in the first inning, but the percentage of left against left.
He's going to pull him. He has just signaled to the bullpen, and John Sayles is sprinting toward the mound. So we're going to take a commercial break. We'll come right back. Top of the 11th inning. Miami 3 and Fresno State 3. John Sayles, the new pitcher for the Fresno State Bulldogs. The numbers on Crane. Well, what a fine job. 153 pitches. 10 2/3 innings, 3 runs, all earned, 7 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts.
Well, the last hit prior to that double by Mike Fiore was the single back in the 3rd inning by Jose Trujillo. What a job by the left-hander.
John Sayles was the opening pitcher, the starting pitcher on opening day against the Stanford Cardinal. With 4 1/3, gave up 7 hits, 7 runs, all earned, walked 2, and struck out 1 batter.
And he's only appeared in relief 1 time this year. That 1 loss that you see in his record was the loss that he suffered in Saturday night's ball game.
Catcher Frank Dominguez steps in. Struck out in the 1st, also in the 3rd, flied out in the 6th, and in the 9th. 2 men out. Sends it in the air to the right side. It's foul. Yesterday in the first elimination game, Cal was knocked off. Florida stayed alive. And the Gators are waiting to see who wins this one because they'll face off with them tomorrow in the losers bracket. Loser this one goes home. Strike called in the outside corner, and he works in front of Dominguez. 0-2. 0-2 pitch up high. Florida will face Arizona State. They're in the other division. I beg your pardon. And the winner of this one will face the loser of tonight's ball game. Down low, count goes even at 2 apiece.
Saw both coaches there. I think they're both more relaxed than they have been. Even though it's a 3-3 game in the 11th inning, these ball clubs have played so well today.
Mike Fiore, who doubled a 2-out double in the top of the 11th inning, down at second base. Sails with a 2-2 delivery on the ground, off the hands of Burton, the third baseman. Zosky is right there to back him up. But all of a sudden, the Miami Hurricanes, with runners at first and third, with 2 out in the 11th.
And here's where the strategy by Bob Bennett takes a little turn for the worse. He brings in Sales to face the right-hander. Ball is hit well. This takes a tough hop there to third baseman Mike Burton. Zosky alertly backs up the play and keeps Fiore from scoring. But now had he left Crane in, he would have him to face Vespi. And Henry Hernandez, the next hitter, also left-handed. Now he's got the percentage working against him with Vespi, who is a good fastball hitter.
Bob Bennett looking on. Vespi, the designated hitter, swings and misses. Hurricanes trying to come back. The base hit, as Jim told you, by Fiore was the first that they had had since back in the third inning. Line drive into left field. Base hit. He got it on one hop, and Miami scores the go-ahead run. They lead 4-3.
Vespi, good fastball hitter. Let's see what kind of pitch he gets to hit. Fastball on the outside part of the plate, same area that he got his RBI single back in the first inning. And Jeff Mott makes a good short hop pick right there to keep it from being extra bases.
That run is charged to Crane. So 2 out in the top of the 11th inning. And the Miami Hurricanes, again, All-American Mike Fiore with the double. Base hit just by Zosky. Fiore heading for home. Throw is there, and they got it. Out number 3. But not before the Hurricanes pick up a run. And as we head to the bottom half of the 11th inning, it is the Miami Hurricanes 4 and Fresno State 3.
Hernandez thought he had an RBI. Good throw right here by Jeff Mott. Made a good play on Vespi's ball. Dominguez has no chance, out by a long ways.
Throw to the plate, the tag, and he's out. So can Fresno State come back in this one? We'll see in just a moment. Here you see the score, bottom of the 11th coming up. And Fresno State is going to have to come up with some kind of magic here if they want to stay alive in this one. Stanford players, they played the second game tonight against Cal State Fullerton. They're in the winner's bracket.
Should point out, Ron, that run in the top of the 11th was unearned. Charge to that man right there. What a job he did. Rich Crane.
Brandon Mitchell, the cleanup hitter, leads it off in the bottom of the 11th inning. Burton and Hosey, the other 2 scheduled hitters in this half of the inning. Parrish in the inside corner. Count goes even at 1. Hard hit ground ball through the hole for a leadoff single in the bottom of the 11th inning. Brandon Mitchell. That's his first of the day, Jim. Couldn't have had a better time for it.
Well, Mitchell was called on to bunt back in the bottom of the 8th. You see Bruckner on the left of your screen. Right-hander Dan Bruckner, left-hander Pete Joseph. Mitchell called on to bunt, did not execute, but now he gets him started with a base hit. And Mike Burton is going to be called on to bunt. Most of the time, if you're the home team, which Fresno State is here, you will play for the tie. Of course, that doesn't mean Bob Bennett has to. He's got some home run power, and Burton, he may let him swing away.
Steve Hosey is scheduled after Burton. Squares around, lays the bunt down. It's a dandy down the first baseline. Throws it, and he got it. That throw just a little bit on the second base side. And second baseman Trujillo almost ran out of height. Henry Hernandez was put into the Miami lineup for his defense. But he almost threw that one away. Good play by Trujillo. And the Bulldogs have what they wanted. The sacrifice bunt and the tying run on second base with 1 out. Steve Hosey, who drove one deep to the warning track back in the 8th inning. And by the way, for Burton, is his first sacrifice of the season. Down at second base, Brandon Mitchell, the catcher. 4-3 ball game. Miami leads, bottom of the 11th inning. Swung on, rips a single in the left field, but they're going to bring him very quickly. Fiore has the ball up and back in. They'll hold him at third. Bulldogs on the corners. 1 out. This has been some kind of ball game.
And it brings up a guy we've talked about so much, the NCAA hit leader, who has not had a hit yet in the College World Series. Ron Frazier has left-hander Pete Joseph warming up in the bullpen.
Steve Pearce, the second baseman, comes to the plate. 1 man down. Brandon Mitchell standing over at third base. He represents the tying run. And Hosey over on first with the winning run. Now a meeting on the mound, and for a moment Kelly came out and he's gone back to talk with Ron Frazier.
He's waited to get the signal. Brad Kelly, you're looking at right there, the pitching coach, to see whether Pete Joseph is ready. Now let's see what move he makes. Talking right here to the infielders, you see Robles and Trujillo in the picture. We saw a similar conference when the Bulldogs had been on first and third with 2 out. What he wants to make sure is to who is covering second base. If the ball is hit on the ground, are they going to try to turn to the conventional way, or are they going to try to head the tying run off at the plate? They have Pearce, the left-hand hitter, at the plate with good speed.
They got their rally caps on, fans of Fresno State who have journeyed here to Omaha, Nebraska. If you just joined us, Ron Franklin along with Jim Cott. We're in the bottom of the 11th inning. Miami scored a run in the top half of the inning. And right now, with 1 out, Steve Pearce steps to the plate. He led the NCAA with 111 base hits this year, but he is hitless in the College World Series. He has a teammate at third and 1 over at first. First pitch, line drive, right field. Noriega makes the catch. They'll tag the runner at third. He's coming home. Throw is there, and he didn't get it. We're going to tie ball game at 4. So Steve Pearce delivers.
Well, he didn't get his first base hit in the College World Series, but he gets his first RBI, and couldn't have been a more important one. Strong throw by Ray Noriega. It was just up the line about 10 feet and kept Dominguez from making the tag. Drives the ball to the outfield. Noriega gets himself in good position, fights the sun, catches it in good rhythm. The throw is there, but up the line. Good effort by Noriega. We got a tie game.
Boy, Jim, you're talking about just bam, bam. It was that close. Another fraction of a second, and he has a chance, Dominguez does, to turn around and to make the tag. Down at second base, moving up on the throw-in is Hosey. And Vondren is being walked intentionally. He hit his 16th home run of the season back in the 5th inning. Has struck out his last 2 times, but Ron Frazier doesn't want to take a chance, so they put him on with the intentional walk.
Well, let's look how close this play was as Brandon Mitchell scores the tying run. Frank Dominguez catches the ball about 10 feet up the line, just enables Mitchell to slide around him. And now, how important does that throw that Jeff Mott made in the top of this inning look?
2 men down, bottom of the 11th. We're tied again, this time at 4. And Jeff Mott, the left fielder, swings and misses, strike 1. Down at first, Vondren. Down at second, Steve Hosey. Hosey, a larger fellow, but don't be fooled. He can run. Bottom falls out of that one. Check swing. Ball just outside. Both teams have tallied a run here in the 11th inning to maintain the tie. The second elimination game of the '88 College World Series. Swung on into the air, right side, out of play there. Goes to 1 and 2. Well, you're right, Jim. The people coming in for the second session who had to work today are really getting the bonus, getting to see the tail end of this first game.
Getting their money's worth.
Record crowds. That's what we've had here in Omaha. 1-2 pitch. Swung on. Shortstop. George Robles flips it to second. We're going to go to the 12th. So there's a timeout. Miami 4 and Fresno State 4.
Well, the Hurricanes had taken a 4-3 lead in the top of the 11th inning. Henry Hernandez at the plate. Frank Dominguez at second. Line drive single just out of Zosky's reach. And now watch Jeff Mott charge this ball. Come up throwing, makes an accurate throw to Brandon Mitchell. Dominguez is an easy out. And right now, after Fresno State scores the tying run, really makes that throw look even more important.
It really does. Speaking of Henry Hernandez, he is due up here to start play in the top of the 12th inning. Ray Noriega, I beg your pardon. Had a strong game out there in right field. He has had several plays that he's been called upon to make and has handled them very nicely. We talked off the top of the telecast today about what a tough situation the Sun Field has been with all the bright blue skies and no clouds in Omaha the last 3 days. And both right fielders have made not some good but some outstanding plays today. 1-2 pitch just misses on the outside corner.
The first chance Ray Noriega has had to hit left-handed. He's a switch hitter and a better hitter from the left side of the plate.
2-2 pitch ties him up inside. The count goes full. Ray's an art major, in case you've never heard us discuss that on one of the telecasts down at Miami University. Zosky, long reach, and he doesn't make the throw as the speedy Noriega is there. And the Miami Hurricanes with a lead-off single in the top of the 12th inning.
you know, sometimes those good bounces even out, Ron. You remember a couple innings ago, Robles hit a shot right off pitcher Rich Crane. It bounced over to third base, and they got a put out on a ball that would have been a hit. That was just a high chopper over the infield, and the Hurricanes take advantage of the good break.
Rob Word, who was 0 for 3, does have a sacrifice fly. Got to be an obvious bunting situation right here. Yes, sir. In off his hands, rolls foul.
Boy, in off his hands is right.
Almost took the knuckles with that one. Four tie. Miami and Fresno State, both clubs scored a couple of runs in the first inning, and then the pitching really got tough. A couple of Miami Hurricanes fans watching with some extreme interest as they had led off the 12th with a single.
Ron? I think it's sitting bunt.
Yeah, I think you got to be right that that's what he's calling for. With the 1-1 count, nobody down on the top of the 12th inning. Goes back over a couple of times to make sure that Noriega stays close. Slant Shevlin, the first baseman. Third baseman Burton coming in. Runner is going to not going to have to bunt right here to get him to second. They made to get him to third because Brandon Mitchell lost the handle on the ball.
You see Brandon Mitchell here as Word squares to bunt. They're not really as alert for the steal. Mitchell, not a natural catcher. He has been changed to that position, and he's had a little trouble with balls down and in today. And Noriega's speed, he makes it to second base easily. Now the Hurricanes, once again, an ideal situation to bunt Noriega to third and get the lead run there with one out.
With the jump that he had, they give him a stolen base. It's his 19th on the year and his third already in the College World Series. Squares around, lays it down the third baseline. Third baseman charges up with the throw, and he is safe. Noriega down to third.
Hustle on the part of Rob Word. You see him drop the bunt. Look how quickly he's getting out of the box. He's saying, I'm not content just for a sacrifice. I'm going to try to beat this ball out. Burton makes an off-balance throw, and Word, great hustle. He calls himself safe.
Dale Williams right there to make sure. The umpire, he says, no, sir, he beat it out. And Bob Bennett makes a slow trek to the mound. Tied at 4 in the top of the 12th inning. Both clubs scored a run. Miami broke the tie in the 11th inning to go on top 4-3. Fresno State came right back in their half of the inning.
Well, Ron, you know Bob Bennett's strategy when he brought John Sayles in this game after having started and pitched 4 innings the other night was if he can get me a big out and we score a run, we win the ball game. He doesn't want to leave him out there too long. He's got Ken Baker and Steve Buchholz down in the bullpen. Right now, the options he has with the left-hand hitting Vieira coming up is probably load the bases and bring the outfield as well as the infield in to try to cut the lead run off at second base at home plate.
Ron Frazier heading back to his dugout. Noriega down at third. Word over at first base. John Vieira, the center fielder, with nobody out.
Well, he's got the one option he has is to pitch to Vieira right here because he is the home team. He can afford to play his shortstop Zosky right now back where he can get a shot at second base. He has Purse, as you can see right there in your picture, in on the edge of the grass.
John Sayles to the plate, swung on and missed. You know, because of the play at the plate, Sales still has not gotten anybody out, actually, because there was a hit on the play and the throw came home and he made the tag there. Lead single by Noriega, and then Word put down the bunt, and he turned it into a base hit. Score tied at 4, hits tied at 11. Delivery. Bouncer back to the pitcher. Checks the runner at third. Goes to first for the first out of the inning. Down to second base is Rob Word. And we go back to the top of the order. George Robles.
Now you set up another situation. Robles is a big part of the Miami offense. You have first base open with a right-hand hitting Trujillo in the on-deck circle. Big out right there by John Sales, keeping the ball in the infield.
Robles from the left side looks at a ball high and outside.
They brought their infield way in as well as the outfield. That's Jose Trujillo, the on-deck hitter. You see both Sosky and Purse on the edge of the grass, and all three outfielders have shortened up.
Auto delivery way outside of that one.
He can hit with men in scoring position. I'm surprised they're pitching to him here.
He's pitching him very carefully. 2-0 count, one man down, top of the 12th. Heads up on that third base side in the stands.
If Robles hits the ball, it's going to be on the barrel of the bat because that's all he's got left above his hands. Chokes up a good 4 or 5 inches on the bat.
There you see the score, the count 2-1. Pitched him out that time, looking to think that Ron Frazier and the Miami Hurricanes might be thinking suicide there or squeeze. Didn't happen, and the count goes to 3-1. So the bases are filled with the walk. And I think you hit the nail on the head. He just pitched him carefully, but you were surprised that they were pitching to him. And Jose Trujillo, who had a hit in his first 2 times at bat today, comes to the plate, and the bases are loaded with teammates.
Well, it's a low percentage play, a bases loaded squeeze, because if you don't make a good bunt, of course, you have the force play at home. You don't have to make the tag. Trujillo's had a good day. He has not had a good year, hitting just .235 on the year. We know Frazier is known for always calling the unexpected, so I'm sure the Fresno State infield is alive for anything right here.
Look at the infield right there. How far in? First pitch, strike on the outside corner. Sports Center coming up immediately following this ball game. Then we'll come back to Rosenblatt Stadium for a game of the winners bracket. Cal State Fullerton and Stanford. Sam Rosen and Jim Cott will bring you all the action in that one. Inning number 12 here.
Well, the infield is moved back now.
Down in the dirt, gets away from the catcher Mitchell. The runner will score. Noriega comes across, and Miami takes the lead again.
Well, Sales wants to keep the ball down and get a double play. Boy, they have given Brandon Mitchell some tough chances. That ball hits right on the plate. Just scoots away, and you see Trujillo waving Noriega home. Immediately waving that runner home. Boy, that thing bounced almost up into the stands.
So we're going to take a break. A new pitcher coming in for Fresno State. 5-4, Miami on top. We'll be right back. Kerry Ross is standing by, has been for a time now. Sports Center is next. Coming up right after this ball game. And then immediately following, we'll come back to Rosenblatt Stadium. The Stanford Cardinal and the Cal State Fullerton Titans, seed 7 and 6. Sam Rosen and Jim Cott will be here to bring you all the action in that one tonight.
Steve Buchholz does not inherit a pleasant situation. You see his record for the year. He worked briefly in the Saturday night ball game. Remember, he's got a count of a ball and a strike on Trujillo. The Hurricanes have men on second and third, one out, and Mike Fiore in the on-deck circle. They've already scored 1 run here to take a 5-4 lead.
The numbers on Sales: 2/3 of an inning, 1 run, 4 hits, 1 walk, and 1 wild pitch.
And lost in some of the sloppy defensive play by Fresno State late in the game here has been the outstanding performance by their starter, Rich Crane.
With 10 2/3, 153 pitches, gave up 4 runs. Runners for the Miami Hurricanes at second and at third. Word is down at third base. Robles at second. 1 man out, top of the 12th.
I'll tell you, Zosky and Purse are not playing too far behind Buchholz. They're way in on the grass.
3-1 the count.
And they're going to go ahead and put him on and try to set up a double play, a play at any base with Fiore at the plate.
Ball 4. Trujillo heads down to first base. Word at third. Robles down at second. Trujillo at first. And it brings up Mike Fiore. And Mr. Fiore is one of the main reasons that the Miami Hurricanes are still alive here. He started it out with a 2-out double in the 11th inning and wound up scoring the go-ahead run. First pitch. Time is called momentarily as Fiore steps out. It's Rob Word. That is Robles, and there's Trujillo. Swung out and missed. Strike 1. Count is even at 1. 1 man down, top of the 12th inning. Miami 5, Fresno State 4.
Seen 2 very uncharacteristic swings by Mike Fiore. Usually when the ball's on the outside part of the plate, men in scoring position, he goes the other way. Look at this breaking ball. Head comes off, shoulder flies out. Not a Mike Fiore swing.
So Buchholz ahead. 1-2. Down to the dirt. Evens it. To remind you, though, that the stat that we gave you early on and the fact that Fiore is one of the very best with the 2-strike count, and there's the graphic right there. All-American left fielder waits for the 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. Knee-high fastball, and there are 2 down in the 12th for Miami. Dominguez, the catcher, got on an error in the 11th inning.
It's Greg Knowles, such a long inning. He went down to the bullpen to loosen up again. Still in the ball game.
2 men out in the top of the 12th inning. Mitchell's really had to earn it today, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's going to sleep well tonight. I'll tell you, they have beaten him up back there with the curves in the dirt, bouncing balls off the plate. He's had some tough chances.
Brian Dominguez with a 7-game hitting streak into this one, sends it in the air, foul off to the right side. He would love to keep that thing alive right now to get some insurance runs for his teammates.
Big pitch. Excuse me, Ron. Big pitch there by Steve Buchholz to Fiore. You see Fiore laid off that ball because it was down in the strike zone. Had he swung on it, it'd have been a double play ball.
Checks the runners. 1-1 pitch. Hangs the curveball. Lines a single into left field. It's bobbled by Mott. 1 run scores. 2 runs come across. And by the time he gets it back in, it is Miami on top 7-4.
I'll tell you what, we may see an interesting appeal here. You don't see the appeal called very often when a runner misses third base. Dominguez with a timely hit to left field, but it appeared that Robles, in his anxiety to score the run, missed third base. Here's the hanging curve. Dominguez ropes it. Mott bobbles it for just a moment. Another look at the swing. Now the first run scores, and Dominguez comes around second base. We can see just went over third base, and I'll tell you what, the umpire is right there. So if they appeal, and Jim Garman says no, he got the corner. You don't have to touch all of it, you know, just the corner, but it sure looked like he may have missed it.
Still 2 men out. All of a sudden, a 3-run Miami lead, 7-4, on the base hit by Frank Dominguez. He lined it into left field. Will Vespi, the designated hitter. Just misses.
We're going to show you that Jim Garman had a much better angle on this play than we did. You see right there in the upper right of your screen, George Robles did touch third base.
That was Trujillo going to third. Line shot, base hit to the right side. Another run will score for Miami as the throw comes in, and Vespi with a very sharp single rifle to right field. It's 8-4.
Well, Bob Bennett with his head down right now, a very dejected man. He got a great pitching performance from his starter, Rich Crane. Brought in the ace of his staff to get one out.
So another change for the Fresno State Bulldogs. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Top of the 12th inning, and the Miami Hurricanes have exploded for 4 here to go on top. And a change again for the Bulldogs of Fresno State.
Ken Baker coming on. Right-hand reliever. Just 7 ball games during the year, only 10 2/3 innings. But after he's gone through Rich Crane and John Sayles and Steve Buchholz, he's going to try to stop the bleeding with Ken Baker and hope that they can come back and give him another shot tomorrow.
And Jim, to reiterate what you said earlier about the fine pitching performance for those who might have come in from work and just turned on the ball game, Rich Crane for Fresno State with 10 2/3. Gave up a hit to the leadoff man in the 3rd and didn't give up another one until the 11th inning.
Here's that play we were talking about where we thought Robles may have missed third base. The replay we showed you was Trujillo coming into third.
There's his foot right there.
Just on the corner of the bag, right over Will Vespi's shoulder.
Down low for a ball.
We're talking about Crane's fine performance. As a coach, you only get to make that decision once. Bob Bennett gambled, took him out of the ball game and brought in Sayles. A high percentage play with your ace, but it didn't work out today.
Ken Baker, the 4th pitcher for Fresno State today. In the air, left field. Mott measures this one, looks back, and makes the catch. So 9 men came to the plate in the top of the 12th for Miami. They score 4. We'll be right back. What an the second elimination game of the College World Series of 1988. The Miami Hurricanes have exploded for 4 in the top of the 12th inning. And now it's up to Fresno State to put at least 4 on the board if they want to keep this one alive. For you trivia buffs, record longest game in College World Series history, 15 innings twice. And the last time was 1970.
Come on, Greggy.
Some of the Miami contingent on hand as we take a look at the Fresno State bench. It's a big hill to climb, but it is not impossible with the sticks they have in the lineup. Toughest thing for them is the fine job that Knowles has done since he's come in.
Mentally, they're down right now, but they've got their spark plug at the plate, so their batting order is set up the right way for them to make a comeback.
Top of the order, Tom Goodwin. Starts him off with a fastball, strike ball. Grounder to second. Trujillo. One down. See a little bit more bounce in the step of the Canes as Miami leading this one by 4 in the bottom of the 12th inning. Zaski, the shortstop. In fact, Knowles looks as though he may be popping the mitt even a little bit harder than he has in the last couple of innings. Just misses on that pitch outside.
4-run lead will do that to you. He's been outstanding ever since he relieved Stephen Major.
That's his dad. Knowles' dad on the ground. Third baseman Rob Ward. Nice play all the way across. And Fresno State is 1 out away from elimination.
Well, Rob Ward has not been an offensive threat at all this year for the Hurricanes. Important sacrifice bunt today, and he can pick it. Look at that play. Greg Knowles has just been phenomenal. 72 pitches since he's been in there, and 56 of those are strikes.
Lance Shevlin.
He came in back in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Pitch just misses on that one.
And if this lead holds up, John Sayles would get 2 losses. The last time a pitcher did that back in 1969, Jim York of UCLA.
Interesting stat. Swung out and missed. Big swing by Shevlin, and the count goes to 1-2. So the situation, second elimination game. 1-2 the count, and Lance Shevlin, 2 men down. And you can see the long looks of the Bulldogs of Fresno State. They need this one to stay alive and not head home. Just outside and misses. Count goes even at 2.
Just in case you thought I had that written on my cuff, Ron, that's our expert scorekeeper here, Lou Spry, that provided me with that information. He's sent a lot of them.
Knowles' dad looking on, and down in the dirt, and the count will go full. Smiles over there on the first base side of that dugout as they came up with 4 runs in the top of the 12th inning. Swung on, line drive into right field, base hit, Lance Shevlin. Ray Noriega will field it, get it back in, but it is a 2-out single for Shevlin. Mitchell, the catcher.
A little dejection on that bench. They played well today. They got a great pitching performance. What's hurt them is their defense. Little tough hops down there to third baseman Mike Burton, and a couple of wild pitches got away from Brandon Mitchell.
1-0 pitch, misses inside. 12th inning. 8-4, Miami on top. 2 men down. Lance Shevlin down at first base. Swung on, pops it up. This should be it. Out is Trujillo, but the right fielder Noriega calls him off, and the Miami Hurricanes have avoided elimination. They will stay alive. For the Bulldogs of Fresno State, the 1988 College World Series is history for them. 8-4, our final score. And the players of the game in this one today, a 12-inning affair. As you look at Mike Fiore right there. Player of the game for Fresno State. Boy, in a losing effort. What a job by this young man, Jim. 10 2/3 innings. And the Frito-Lay player of the game for the Miami Hurricanes, Greg Knowles, in relief. So the handshakes go on. We're going to take a break. We'll come right back. The Canes are still alive. Here's the Firestone play of the game in this second elimination game of the College World Series. As you see, the base hit goes through. Dominguez was on second, rounds third, and Jeff Mott with his perfect strike to home plate. And Dominguez is nailed right there. Our final score once again in 12 innings. The Miami Hurricanes stave off elimination. They win it over Fresno State 8-4. Coming up next, Terry Ross and Sports Center. And then we'll be coming right back here to Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska for the battle between the Stanford Cardinal and the Cal State Fullerton Titans. The winning run scoring for the Miami Hurricanes. Rob Word coming across. Greg Knowles. What a job in relief as he gets the win, and his dad loved it in the stands as you see his expression. For the Fresno State Bulldogs, they're heading home. Miami will stay alive in the losers bracket. For Jim Cott, I'm Ron Franklin. So long, everybody.